Welcome, everyone, to another edition of the Irish Breakdown Podcast presented by FanDuel. I'm Vince, that's Trevor, that's Sean, that's Brian, and we are here to talk about Notre Dame's 36-7 win over the NC State Wolfpack in a game that was a little up, little down, little left, little right, and we got a lot to talk about in this game, but a 36-7 win for all of you degenerate bettors out there. They did cover. So that's always a good thing. And if you want to know more about that, you can check out our show, the Spread Option, over on CFB Nation. But we got a lot to talk about this game right here, gentlemen. Brian, a good win for Notre Dame, fourth in a row. You know, they're doing their thing. I want your opinion. Give me your first thoughts. We haven't even talked about it yet, really, about what we're gonna say.
I purposely said we're not talking about it. Yeah. I'm kicking the show off.
I'm throwing it to you, man. What do you got?
I have been in a roller coaster of emotions for the last hour and a half, and it hit me on my way home. I am not happy with how the offense played. There was this mistake by the defense, and I sat there and I was on my way home and I was thinking, I'm not happy about how the team played today. And they just destroyed NC State. They absolutely destroyed NC State. And it got me thinking, like, I'm in my head, I'm like, I wasn't happy about this. I wasn't happy about this. I was in my full coach mode, right? Like, you know how it is after a game. You're like, I'm mad about this drop and this. And it hit me. Guys, they just annihilated NC State in a game where NC State never even challenged them. And I'm like, they didn't even play great. How good of a team are you when you can beat a 4-2 talented football team by 29 and be like, we played okay on offense. We missed this play. We left this out there. Guys, and it hit me. This team is freaking rolling. It hit me in the middle of my drive home frustration. It hit me. Do you know how good this team is right now? That I'm driving home cranky about a 36. I'm like, I can't believe you fumbled the ball to 2, and I can't believe you didn't punch these 2 fourth down. They had 2 fourth downs that they missed in the red zone. They fumbled the ball to 2, and they beat NC State by 29. Do we understand that? Like, this is the kind of game you realize, fellas, there's stuff to clean up. This team can be so much better. And that's the scary part. Like, that's the scary part about this team is they just beat Boise State and NC State in back-to-back games by a combined score, I believe, if my math is correct, 64-14, and they didn't even play that great in either game on offense. They left a lot of points on the board. How good of, you know what I mean? Like, do you guys get where I'm coming from? Like, I don't know if you guys had the same reaction, but this is how I felt driving home. I'm like picking this apart and I'm picking that apart. And I'm thinking, guys, they dominated. I had Trev look something up for me. This is how crazy this game was. NC State crossed into Notre Dame territory twice in this game. Twice. Their touchdown drive, and then the next time, their last play ended at the 47. They got past the 47-yard line once for an entire game. Like, that's what good teams do. The offense had to carry them against Purdue and kind of Arkansas. The last 2 weeks, it's the defense, and we're pissed about a Notre Dame offense that scored 36 points on NC State, and we're like, man, they left like 24, 28 points on the board. Like, it hit me, guys. This team is really dangerous if they can finally put it all together. Because I'll tell you what, there's things we're going to talk about in the defensive section, like you got to make a play here and you got to come together there. But I don't think people understand how good this NC State offense is. And they barely crossed midfield twice. Like, all year, we're not worried about the offense. We're like, this defense is terrible. The last 2 weeks, this defense looked as good as last year's defense ever looked in the last 2 games. Ever looked. Dominant, flying around. Dallas Golden's going to be fine. Days like today are going to be good for that young man. Just like the game against Purdue was great for Mark Zachary because he came out the next week against Arkansas, played really good football. Talented young players learn from that. Like, that's what has me fired up, guys. And I'm going to kick it to you guys, and we'll go around however you guys want to do it. But it hit me on my drive home. I'm sitting here thinking of all the things they need to correct, and they just annihilated NC State. And it wasn't a fluky 36-7. It should have been 56-7. How dangerous is this football team that they can play kind of sloppy football and go out there and have their redshirt freshman quarterback pass for 342 yards? Their running backs combined for 52 yards in a game that I didn't think Jeremiah Love played well at all. They're both sub 5 yards per play. They doubled up NC State on first downs. They more than doubled up NC State in yards. 485 to 233. And I'm in my car cranky because they should have done this, and this. That's the sign of a team that when it clicks, boys, this team is going to be crazy good. And it hit me on the way home. This is the team we thought they were going to be, because nobody's perfect for 12 games in a row. And it hit me. This is the kind of game we thought we were going to get from this team. Elite defense, flashy offense, big plays, talent taken over, some young people mistakes. This is who we thought they're going to be. And it hit me after my crankiness of what was otherwise a great day. We had a great tailgate today. Got to cover the game with my dad. Like, that was great. And it got me such in a fired up mood. And so whoever wants to take it next can take it. But like, I went from pissed to like, holy crap, this team is going to be amazing if they can keep building on this, because they didn't play close to their best football as a team today, and absolutely beat NC State plus the ACC refs 36-7. Even the ACC refs, with the two most egregious overturn, officiated calls ever. Let's pick up the flag where Malachi Fields got tackled in the end zone. Still couldn't stop Notre Dame from winning by 29. Guys, I'm fired up. It's amazing the roller coaster I'm on. Did anybody else go through that, Sean? How you feeling right now, buddy?
No, this is par for the course for me. I said it all week. I was like, they're going to do what they've been doing. I saw the trend. I said, a lot of times if you allow people to talk and just listen, eventually they're going to show you who they are. And I feel like this team, going back to Purdue's second half, each week is starting to show you what's in their heart, what they're truly made of. Christian Gray spoke about it this week. Defensively, we're starting to feel like and believe now this is who we are. We're playing. I don't know what's happened. I don't know if it's schematically. I don't know if the players just said, you know what, let's go make plays, because that's what it seems like they've been doing. Individually, this guy will make a play. Then the next time, another guy will make a play on the other side of the defensive line. Then a linebacker will make a play. Then somebody in the secondary makes a play. Okay, your freshman gets beat for a touchdown. You come back out, no problem. We're going to keep doing what we've been doing and lock them down. It is absolutely what I expected. I didn't expect the offense. I actually thought the offense would get back on track this week. I really did. I thought it would be like in the 40s that they would score. And I thought, because North Carolina State averages 29.4 on the season, and I said they'll probably get around 17 to hold 3 straight teams to the points they've held them to. That's
27
insane.
points the last 3 games combined. They were giving up more than that per game the first 3 games, Sean.
And if we want to ignore that and continue to say, because like you said, Brian, they're not doing this against, Boise State, really all they had was the run game. They had offensive line was like top 10, run rate, blocking, run block rate, all of that. Okay, that's fine. You can't. Arkansas was in a battle with Tennessee on the road today, like late in the game. But we just want to act like Arkansas and that offense is all that was nothing
right now, Sean, with 6 and 7 minutes left. 34.
Yeah, it's like, we just want to poo-poo the fact that they were the number 5 offense when they came into that game. Okay, Boise State, I'll give you that. And now we're going to act like North Carolina State, like you said. I think it was a big blow when Anderson went down at halftime. That was a big blow to them, especially in the passing game, because they were using him schematically to really go at Dallas Golden in the slot in certain situations. But other than that, I expected this defense to continue to do what they do. I expect them to continue getting better. Like you said, they're going to have two guys. If Devontae Smith can come back and stay healthy when he finally gets back, they're going to have him and Dallas Golden to be able to give him less snaps and try to keep him healthy. And Mark Zachary is like, look, can we say something about this front seven today, man? They play, they dominant. These linebackers, this defensive line, everybody that came in, like Vince Trev, it didn't matter who came in or defensive line. I swear it seemed like Josh Burnham made a play. Elijah Hughes made a play. Jared Dalton made a play. Like, you just name it. Whoever came in, Gabriel Rubio made a play. Everybody was making
bring up
play.
Josh Burnham's name right now.
That
guy's big play, his big play to snaps ratio is absurd.
Yes. Yeah.
The fact that he's not playing more. Who did somebody in NC State talk about Drake Bone's mama before the game?
Must have.
Who pissed him off? That young man was destroying people. That was, man, Sean, you nailed that. That defense was laying wood today. Laying wood.
And offensively, Trev, you can look, they're going to get back to it. I actually like this these two games before USC. I actually love offensively. I love it. Like, all right, let's clean this up. We got 2 weeks of tape, situational things, and it's not just the players. The coaches are getting real cute in certain situations. Yeah, we got to figure something out, especially when we get down to the red zone, short distance, third, fourth down. Like, you ran the ball 3 straight times to get the first touchdown with Jeremiah Love straight ahead. Why are we getting cute? Why are we rolling out? Why are we getting cute? It's half a yard. Run the ball. Use the same double teams you used for the touchdown and get the first down. It's like, man, we just overthink some things. Like you said, the fumble by Jadarian Price, definitely got to clean that up. And then just some of the post play penalties. And I know they were excited. Boubacar, you can't shoot the gun. You can't do that. And then Bryce, you can't just stand. I mean, I actually laughed at him standing over Smothers, but you can't do it. They're gonna flag you. Especially, I don't know what it is. There is definitely money being paid to these officials on the field and in the replay booth to kind of either keep the game closer or because Notre Dame's still covered. I'm shocked that the under hit, though. I am shocked that the under hit. I didn't get a chance to watch Vincent Trev. I don't know how they saw it.
We were all close to the over, if not past the over.
Yeah.
I was shocked the under hit, but I expected Notre Dame to cover. That's great win.
Yeah, Sean, to answer your question, for betting purposes, Vince and I on Thursday, we talked about staying away from it. We said to stay away from the over-under because we could see either one happening. We could see this game being a 45-31 type deal, or we could see it like today, and Notre Dame's defense kind of shut them out, and that's exactly what happened. I don't have a whole lot to add. I mean, my gut reactions fall in line with the same as your guys's. I mean, this is the team that we thought that we were going to see to start the season, and I'm happy that it's finally come to fruition. Big picture, there are some things that once this season is over, I'm sure Marcus Freeman can take a step back and say, okay, what do we have to do to get to this point in week 1 or week 2, not week 5, week 6, week 7? But again, it's all part of the learning process. I think the offense has a lot to clean up, a lot to clean up. And a lot of their success today was just our guys are just better than this really bad defense. Yep. I thought the play calling was really questionable at times. I thought,
red zone for me.
This is now, I mean, this is back-to-back weeks where you've gone 0 for 2 on 4th down in the red zone. Something's got to be fixed. Like you either have confidence in your kicking game or you don't. You know what I mean? Like you have confidence in your kicker to hit a 48-yarder at the end of the half, but not a 23-yarder. And then you run some weird-looking play. I don't know. That was odd. But the reason why I was in a cranky mood literally was just because of the officiating. That was the most atrocious thing that I've ever seen. The ACC officiating crew should be, ashamed of themselves for the back-to-back crews they've rolled out in South Bend. That's been absolutely putrid. I can't emphasize that enough. But that being said, it's not like it mattered because Notre Dame still won by 29 points, like we all talked about. Lot to clean up, but they continue to build momentum going into this USC game, which we've all talked about. This 2-game stretch between NC State and USC is going to be so crucial to how they finish their season. So crucial to how they finish their season. And if they're able to continue this rolling, there are some teams that could sneak up on you. You know, Pitt beat Florida State today in Doak Campbell.
Yep. Which is huge for Notre Dame, guys.
Yes.
Huge for Notre Dame.
There's teams that can sneak up on you and things that you're going to have to make sure. USC's playing Michigan right now. That's going to be one to keep your eye on.
Penn State. Oh, wait, never mind. I'm sorry. Wrong.
Have to be careful with Northwestern. Just in case they're 4-2 right now, baby.
Hope you don't have to play UCLA or Northwestern this year, boys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Northwestern's ranked higher than Penn State in the Big Ten standings, by the way.
My intramural team is ranked higher than Penn State in the Big Ten standings right now. But all in all,
they haven't won a Big Ten game.
I know that.
They still have yet to beat a Power 4 team, and it's October 11th.
Oh my gosh.
And that
it could be worse.
That will still be the case on October 17th.
Notre Dame broke Penn State, boys. They broke them.
Man.
Oh my goodness. But yes, overall, good win. You got to keep rolling with the momentum. But yeah, I'm ready to dive into this offensively and defensively. There's some good and some improvements for sure.
Vince, I am curious to your thoughts on this as well.
Yeah,
I know you always lead us into these things.
Yeah,
but I want to hear your thoughts as well.
It's interesting because there's a lot of things that you guys said. I'm 100% on board, and we obviously like to text back and forth and kind of share our thoughts throughout the game. And my biggest issue, like going into this game, and we had talked about it, Brian, you and I, upon further review and in the post game show and all of that. It's like, okay, this is the defense this is a Notre Dame defense. This is a recognizable Notre Dame defense. Last week against Boise State. And we were excited about it. And we showed clips and we did all the things. And then, I go on to Sean's show, later on in the week. And it's like, okay, have they turned a corner? And I'm like, hold on a second. Cause I need to see it more than once. Like, is this a specific to Boise State? Is this an aberration? Like, I don't know. Well, I said, talk to me after the NC State game and we'll talk about if Notre Dame is headed in the right direction defensively. And I think I can safely say that they're headed in the right direction defensively because this was another game in a row. We got 2 games in a row now where this looks like a Notre Dame defense. And I know that's a very vague statement, but we're going to obviously get into the details of it. But it's the play calling, obviously. It's the manner in which they're flying around the football, but the coaching is allowing them to fly to the football, the play calling, the alignment, like all of the things that we have come to know and be excited about when it comes to Notre Dame's defense, whether that's under Al Golden, whether that's under Clark Lee, name a defensive coordinator, Marcus Freeman, name a defensive coordinator. It's the Notre Dame defense that we've come to see and be excited about. We've seen that now 2 games in a row. And that was by far the most frustrating things early on in the season. It's like, where did Notre Dame's defense go? I recognize the names, I recognize the numbers, but I don't know where Notre Dame's defense is. Well, the last 2 games now, we're there. Like, now, we'll talk about things they still need to clean up and all of those different things. But this is a Notre Dame defense. Finally, 2 games in a row. So, have they turned a corner? Yes, they have. Like, I'm excited about this Notre Dame defense now. So, that's my overall big picture on the defense. Offensively, for me, look, CJ Carr had a rough game last week, missed some throws and, some protections and he just wasn't quite there. For him specifically, like that was still like when we're looking at Notre Dame quarterbacks in like the last, decade to 2 decades, like, we'll take that. Like, that's a great performance. We'll take that. He was back. Like he had a good game. I wouldn't say great. He had a good game, missed some throws, things like that. It's the play calling inside the red zone that I had an issue with, but like
we'll get to that when we get to the offensive
100%.
section. But yeah,
like there was no flow necessarily to the offense at times, and that was kind of frustrating. Things like
they still
that.
had 485 yards.
Exactly. So what does that say? You know what I mean? Like what?
That's my whole point.
Yeah.
Like there's 10 to 12 plays from the defense. I'm like, guys, you got to be flipping better than that.
Right.
There's 15 to 18 plays by the offense where I'm like, guys, you got to be better than that. And they won 36-7, doubled up NC State on first downs, more than doubled up NC State on yards. NC State, I'll repeat, NC State crossed the 50-yard line twice And in one of those trips, they got stopped at the 47. And someone in our chat saying the defense was still bad. I like compared to what?
Wow.
The 85 Bears, Baltimore
Right.
Ravens 2000 All-Star squad mixed together? Like, like that. But my point is, guys, it wasn't like for the frustrations we have with the offense, it wasn't the defense had to carry the offense for an entire
absolutely
game.
agree. Yes,
Yeah.
100%.
It was early in the game. Defense had to do some things because the offense was struggling. And then the third quarter, offense comes out and puts the game away.
Well, and
Like,
what's nice
isn't
right
that
now,
what a good team was supposed to do?
Oh, you pick each other up. Like,
Yeah.
depending on whether it's in game,
And-
whether it's game to game, whatever
Yeah.
the case may be, right?
And instead of the defense saying, okay, now we can let up, you could see it. When the offense put a couple scores on the board for the first time of Chris Ash's tenure, I really saw this man kind of say, pin their ears back and let's go. It wasn't back
Right.
off. Let's loosen up. It was, okay, now let's bury them. Because first
Right,
half, guys, I'll
absolutely.
be honest, I was texting with a buddy of mine, and I was like, I don't know if this team has kind of that it thing. My buddy texted me that, and I was like, dude, I agree. Just watching that first half. But what encouraged me is we come out of the third quarter, and the offense just looks like poo on that first drive. But after that,
Mhm.
Notre Dame outscored NC State 26-0 in the last 25 minutes of the game. Like, that's finishing. Now they got to don't fumble to freaking 2 and all that, but like
For sure.
Like,
but
yeah.
here's the thing as far as what the defense is right now. So the defense is playing in a manner of which the offense doesn't have to freak out. And the offense doesn't have to go and try to CJ Carr doesn't have to be like, okay, guys, get on my shoulders. Like, we're going to have to carry this game. We're going to have to outscore teams. We're going to have to do this. We're going to have to do that. The offense can, make some mistakes, but know that the defense is going to play their game. So they don't have to completely stress out. They could just go out there and play offensively. You know what I mean? When you know you've got a defense that's going to play like this, the offense doesn't have to freak out, which I love right now. Because in the first few games, it was like, well, looks like we're going to have some shootouts. We're going to have to, score 40 or 42, to win a game. And that's not the case anymore. And that's what I think I like most about this team is the offense and the defense are playing together. And you can tell that they're both confident in each other. You know what I mean? This defense is confident the offense put points on the board. The offense is confident the defense is not going to allow points on the board. And so they're just out there playing. And these guys have a ton of talent.
It's the first glimpse that we've gotten to see this team play complementary football. We've been begging to see that the first 5 games.
Correct.
Defense would now there's still a little bit of it. You still got to clean that up, but defense would get a turnover and then offense turns it over on downs in the red zone. Or the offense puts up 40 points or the team puts up 40 points and then the defense gives up 41 points. So, you know what I mean? But yeah, it's just one of those where this is the first glimpse that we've gotten of complementary football. But Vince, you and I got beef, bro. On Thursday, I said if you and I went in halvesies, I put in 7,500 and you put in 7,500 on Notre Dame's money line at minus 22.5. We each would have pocketed $150. And here I am without $150.
I know.
That's what the line was set at on FanDuel.
Minus
22.5. So thanks, Vince. I could have come on, man. Come on. But in all seriousness, though, I do agree. This is the first time, to your guys' point, that we've gotten to see this offense and defense play somewhat complementary to each other, and you got to continue to build on it.
All right, boys. Those are our gut feelings, our immediate reaction to the Notre Dame 36-7 win over NC State. Make sure you hit that like button, that subscribe button, that notification bell. Share with your family and friends. Of course, jump on the boards at boards.irishbreakdown.com. That's where we're going to have all kinds of stuff. From upon further review, we're going to have video breakdowns. We're going to have all kinds of written content. It's great conversation over there, et cetera, and talk about. We're going to have a lot of conversation about what happened today in college football and how that helps or does not help Notre Dame. And then we can all sit back and laugh at Penn State as well. But definitely get on the boards at boards.irishbreakdown.com. You will not be sorry. It's pretty good money well spent right there. So definitely hit that up. All right, gentlemen, as we continue here on the Irish Breakdown podcast presented by FanDuel, we are going to jump into the offense and what we think about a team that put up 485 total yards of offense, 36 points. And, I think we all were like, but at the end of the day, not a terrible performance there by the O. Brian, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think it just shows what I kind of feel about the offense, because I see some comments from people in the chat and they're just like, drop passes was this, was that. And I'm like, I get all that stuff. But what that says is not so much that the offense played poorly. It's definitely got to play better. It shows what the new bar is. Like, we're grading off of a different scale now. Like a year ago, this performance against a team like NC State, we'd be like, what a great day from the offense. They passed for 342 yards and ran for $143. The running backs combined for 152 yards and like, yeah, it wasn't perfect, but man, like, what a performance. If this team plays like this the rest of the year, nobody beats them. And now we're just like, good. And look, I'll say, like, they got to play better next week against USC than they did this week, because NC State's a good football team, but USC's better. And they're better on both sides of the ball. But the fact of the matter is like, there's just the offense has just not been clicking the last 2 weeks for different reasons. Today, the pass game didn't bother me as much. There were some drops late in the game, and some receiver route running at times wasn't great, and CJ missed a couple. I mean, quarterback's going to miss throws, but he also threw some absolute dimes today. The throw to Raritan at the end of the game was like a ridiculous throw. My bigger issue today was the performance of the run game, and we'll get into that when we get into some more specifics. But here's what I think is kind of, I'm seeing a little something, is teams have got film of the Notre Dame offense. They're game planning to stop the things that Notre Dame does, and Notre Dame didn't really adjust well. For example, the first fourth down call. That play's been money for you now for 3 weeks in a row. But you've got to know that other teams know that play's been money for you the last 3 weeks in a row. You've now run it on fourth down like twice, and you got to think that they're going to kind of have a plan for that. What I would have rather seen is something where they use that to their advantage and maybe sprint out and have a throwback. But you can't get into 2 fourth down plays, and in each play you have one potential target at receiver on the play. At least on the second one, CJ threw it, and it should have been a pass interference. Like, I still can't believe they didn't call that. That was absolutely atrocious that they didn't call that.
But the thing is, they did call it, and then they picked it
up.
up.
It's an absolute joke.
Like, that's even worse. That's even worse. They did throw the flag.
Yeah, absolute joke. But like, we're frustrated with a performance where your redshirt freshman quarterback passed for 342 yards and 2 touchdowns. Offensive line didn't play great. Well, like we'll get into that, but at the end of the day, fellas, 24 first downs, 485 yards of offense is a day where, if that's your bad day against a bad defense, boys, you're doing pretty good. Their bad day was, what was their yards per play? It was 6.8. What do you know, Vince, what the actual specific was? 485 on 75 plays, right?
It was 6.8.
6.8.
6.83. Okay. Which is 0.02 off the best performance that worst performance they've had against UVA was 6.85. That's why I was asking.
I gotcha.
Second most yards NC State's allowed all year by quite a bit. The next closest is 418, and they didn't play well. The most passing yards this secondary had given up all year was 383 against East Carolina, in a game where East Carolina was down like 17, 20 points and had to just throw the ball. And that's their quote unquote off day. And it was an off day. I shouldn't even use air quotes. It was an off day. And it's 2 off days in a row. But these off days are still pretty flipping good, guys. I mean, these off days are still better than what Notre Dame did most of last season on offense. And that's the thing that gets you fired up. And what gets me fired up is because a month ago, I'm sitting there saying, like, if the offense has days like this, they could end up getting beat by good teams. Because what they did today is not good enough to have beaten Texas A&M. But they don't need to play like that right now, because their defense is finally looking like the defense that we expect. And that's the thing that has me excited about this football team is, the 6.85 today is, let's see here, only 5 of Notre Dame's 16 games last year did they do worse than that, better than that yards per play. And that was against Stanford, Navy, Florida State, Army, and USC. Oh, Purdue. Those are bad football teams. This is not a bad football team. So a lot to clean up. Vince, I don't know how you want to go through it. Like, just am I saying all what I want to say now, or are we going to kind of get into some different aspects, or how do you want to do it?
We kind of did it already, but I mean, if anybody's got like some big picture things they want to talk about first, we can do that.
That's
and then
my
we
big
can
picture thing. So,
yeah. Then we can dive into some more specifics, as far as how the team played. But Sean, I'll throw this one to you. Do you want some big picture offensive thoughts here you want to get out?
Like I said a little bit earlier, I do think this is something that they can really kind of collectively take a look at. I think Trev touched on it. Some questionable. It's almost, and we mentioned this last week with Boise State. Sometimes you just get too cute, right? And I think a lot of times, sorry about that. I had to let the doorbell go past. Sometimes when you really think about it, I truly believe that this is the beautiful thing we've been waiting for a Notre Dame offense, being able to play ping pong with the run game and the pass game, depending upon what the defense is doing. Right? Today was a day where they could have done whatever they wanted to do. They could have done absolutely whatever they wanted to do in the passing game. And if CJ wasn't a bit off, he had a chance to throw for over 400. Easy. Because North Carolina State was there for the taking. They committed everything to stop run. And it talked about in the week, I think they were like 29th in the nation. A contact defensive line, they were allowing 1.2 yards before contact, which is pretty good for a defensive line. But they're one of the worst tackling teams. It's like 1 out of every 8 tackle attempts is a missed tackle for them on the season, right? But they actually did a good job tackling today for the most part. So you look at that, and it just wasn't the week where the run game could get going. You had inconsistencies, the play calling, inconsistency with the offensive line, and fumbles. It just couldn't get going. But the passing game was there all day long. It's great to see Eli Reardon over 100 yards on today. Man, chunk yardage down the field, beating man-to-man coverage. That's something you put on film for USC, and they have to pay attention to that, right? Because like Brian said, they now have film and they see, okay, this is what you like to do with Jordan Faison. You like to have comebacks with him, rollouts, all of that stuff. Okay, we're going to roll up and take that away. The linebacker went out on that 4th down and immediately took the flat throw away because they saw it. So now you have to counter that. And I think that's what being balanced offensively gives you. Mike Denbrock now has the opportunity to anticipate counters and allow himself to put CJ Carr in his offense in position to be able to be at an advantage. Like, put them at an advantage because you have to get these defenses on the heels. But the fact that they can go primarily to the passing game to set up the run game now, like, that's something you might see down the road. Let's use this passing game to set up the run game and get to it and then wear teams down that way instead of starting off. Like you said, them coming out against Boise State, play action, bomb over the top. I would love to see that more early in the game because teams are going to be so focused on having to stop the run. What team are they going to face that's not going to come in and say, we got to stop the run? If we don't stop the run, there's nothing we can do against the team. But heck, if that's going to leave their secondary susceptible, especially a secondary that's is on their 5th nickel, they're on their 5th nickel because of injury. That's my big picture. I think they clean things up, but I think the production we've seen, although disappointing from a point standpoint against Boise, and then today against NC State, from an opportunity standpoint, big picture, and what they can do, the landscape is just, it's a clean landscape. They can paint whatever masterpiece they want to paint moving forward offensively.
And if it's not for garbage officiating at the end of the game or replay booth, it's probably 14-7 at the end of the half, not 10-7. Sean, but to your point, though, I want to – Coach Denbrock does a lot of good things, but I want to see him be a little bit more anticipatory. Like, the first half, they're killing their course. They're playing soft quarters coverage in the first half, and they're just beating them on outs, just deep outs, just crushing them, like Will Pauling wide open. then they come out in the first drive of the third quarter on 3rd and 10, and they try to run that same route. Like, did you not think that NC State was at all going to go in at halftime and be like, hey, we need to – like, why not use that to your advantage? You know, why not have something to say, we're anticipating this, so, you know, let's maybe do like a – you know, like teams will do kind of like that snap, like that little stutter in on that kind of route. But like they just were late to respond. Like the red zone, 4th down in the red zone. Like you've used that play a lot. You used it twice against Arkansas. You used it on a 4th down and then the 3rd down. You used it last week. I'm pretty sure you used it against Purdue. Like you got to give me something different. And so like there were some things out there that I felt play calling wise that in certain situations, I thought overall the game plan early was good. Another issue that I had a little bit from a play calling standpoint, Trev, before I kick it to you, is I felt like this is the 2nd week in a row where they've gone too far trying to force the ball to Jeremiah Love in the first half in the run game. And it just stagnates. Like they come out early in the game and it's like throw, 1st down, plus 23, plus 19. And then it's like, you know, run, touchdown because you're tight. You come out the next drive and it's, you know, big play, complete plus 42. And then it's like, you just felt like they were just kind of, you know, you're going backwards in the run game. And then you get the tunnel screen for a 1st down. And then it's run, 4th and 1. And you take the sack. Like, I just feel like you're trying too hard to get Jeremiah Love going against a defense, Trev, whose entire game plan early in the game, when they saw Jeremiah Love go downhill, they were flying downhill, which is like, that's why, like, where's the play action that's been good for you against a team in that just was determined to take away the run game whenever you ran downhill. And that's some of the stuff that I felt like was a little bit frustrating. And it's the 2nd game in a row where Jadarian Price doesn't get the ball till kind of deeper into the game. And, you know, it took him 4 carries to surpass what Jeremiah Love had in 11. That's not to mean Jeremiah Love's not a great player, but I just feel like they're forcing the issue a little bit too much, and it's created some of that stagnation at times, in my opinion, Trev. I don't know if you see it the same way, but that's and with no pass, there's none of the pass game doing it either. Like when he was getting going, there was some pass game stuff, and I felt like, I don't know, like maybe there's a directive to, hey, let's get Jeremiah the ball for some reason, and it's just causing some stagnation where it's like, take advantage of NC State trying to do this, rip off some big plays, then force them to back off like they were close to doing. They just hit a couple more of those. And you know, but they went back to a little bit quick. And Jeremiah, for his part, was way too impatient in the first half. Was getting downhill way too fast. But I don't know. I just, Trev, I could be wrong, but I just felt like this is the 2nd week in a row where they've gone too hard into trying to get Jeremiah Love the ball. And it's created some of the stagnation that we're seeing, in my opinion.
I think some of it goes into you talking about, I'm hoping that in the future, very near future, Mike Denbrock does a better job at being more anticipatory because it's not a secret anymore. I've been saying it for weeks. It is not a secret anymore what Notre Dame is going to attempt to do on offense. Just isn't. And any defensive coordinator that is shocked at what Notre Dame does on offense with them getting ready to go into game number 7 of the season probably shouldn't be a defensive coordinator. I'll have to go back and watch the film. I think that there was a lack of creativity in the run game. That was one of our keys to victory. And it looked very similar. Now, I know a lot of the stuff they do in the run game is similar. You know, mid-zone looks a lot like inside zone. They do different looks with duo. So I'll have to go back and watch the film for that. But didn't think there was an overall effort into making the run game a little bit more creative. I think that hurt him this week. I was shocked at the lack of Mike Denbrock not trying to get Love more out in space in the pass game. I thought we were going to see a lot of that this week, and I think he was targeted once and then he dropped it. And I think sometimes you just chalk it up to an off day, maybe, but you know, back-to-back weeks, to your point, Brian, of force-feeding Jeremiah Love is a little bit interesting, I guess you could say, especially when you have a guy like Jadarian Price, who's more of your slasher type of running back. He's averaging more yards per carry than Jeremiah Love is. So I think personnel usage overall, I think, needs to be a little bit better in terms of rotation. At some point, you're going to have to get Ty Washington involved in the pass game at some point because he is virtually not a threat in the slightest when they're in 12 personnel to catch a football. That's something that I would like to see improved as well moving forward. With that being said, the offense was still able to do some things that I liked today. I mean, when is the last time Notre Dame finished a game with 2 pass catchers over 100 yards?
It's a great question.
I mean, Raritan and
you know what? The only game I could even think of, I could be wrong. The only game I can even think of is the Fiesta Bowl. I would think the Fiesta Bowl at the end of 2021.
Probably.
I think Kevin Austin and Chris Tyree both went over 100. I think in
Sounds
that.
right.
I think in that game.
Yeah,
that's
Kevin
the last
Austin
time I can remember. I'm pretty sure it didn't happen in 2022.
No.
But
you know
what? There might have been maybe Central Michigan in 2023 because Tobias and no, but they didn't have a 100-yard game. I think because I remember Tyree and Tobias both had 70+ yard touchdown passes that game. But your point stands, Trev.
And Christopher Crosby said 2009. But
no, I'm like 99.9% positive that they had 2 guys in the Fiesta Bowl. They did not. They had 91 and 88 against Central Michigan, but I'm pretty sure, Trev. Keep talking. I'm going to look it up. The Oklahoma State game.
Yeah. Point being, the offense still did do some good things. I've been begging for them for weeks to start attacking the middle of the field, and they did that today. KK Smith caught a touchdown over the middle of the field. Eli Raritan was eating this team alive over the middle of the field. I mean, we've been talking about them needing to get more weapons involved. KK Smith and Will Pauling combined for 164 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Like they did some things today that I'm happy to see moving forward. I agree with everything that you guys said, for sure. There's a lot of things that need to be improved, and I know we're going to continue talking about the red zone offense, and there's times where I think Mike Denbrock feels like he has to be the smartest guy in the room. Sometimes the answer is simple: hand the ball to Jeremiah Love on that first 4th and 1. It's not that difficult. You can't force feed him and force feed him and force feed him, and then in a situation where you probably should force feed him, go away from it. There's too many times that I've watched Mike Denbrock this season. And Marcus Freeman talks about it in his post games. Like, he's been asked on multiple times, like, hey, why didn't this 4th down call work? It's like, well, when we look and we're anticipating what we think the defense might do, then we're going to do something based on that. But then they gave us a different look. It's like, hey, sometimes, and I say it all the time, football is not always that complicated. Sometimes it's just, hey, we have the best running back in the country and one of the best run blocking offensive lines in the country. Let's just get downhill and pick up this much. And but then there's other times where there's too much of an overcorrection. And it's like, you're running the same play on 4th down 2 games in a row, and you've done it multiple times now. It's find the in-between. Be creative. Don't get too cute. But yeah, this unit did what I mean, CJ Carr had a nice bounce-back game. There's still some things that he has to clean up. Wasn't perfect. No quarterback ever finishes 100% in completion percentage. But again, if we're talking about a quarterback that had 342 passing yards and 2 touchdowns, rating of 168.8 is you kind of have to play a little better there, CJ. I mean, if Riley Leonard at any point last year had a game where he went 19 of 31 for 342 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick, we would have been in this post-game show talking about, this Notre Dame, who stops this team? And now it's kind of like, they got to get it turned around. So I offensively, yeah, they did some good and a lot of improvement before next Saturday.
I'm just going to say something. If you're in the chat and you want us to say everything is perfect all the time, please go somewhere else. I am not going to tolerate that today. We all think Jeremiah Love is a phenomenal player, but just like Barry Sanders, Marshall Faulk, and Walter Payton, sometimes they have off games. And Jeremiah had an off game. He averaged 4.4 yards per carry against a bad defense. It's okay to say that and still think he's the most dynamic player in college football, not named Jeremiah Smith. So seriously, if you're looking for a show that's just like everything is awesome, Notre Dame is great, have a nice night. Seriously, there's probably shows for that. I would assume somewhere. This ain't it. So just, it's okay to say a guy had a rough game. Notre Dame scored 36 today. They should have scored 56 today. It's okay. But we still said they beat that tail. They dominated NC State. It's okay to do that. It's Irish breakdown. We break down the game. It's not Irish sunshine pumpers. If you're looking for that, go find another podcast. I'm sure there's one out there.
That's our sister station.
Yeah, perhaps. But but that's the reality. It helped. It stopped the flow of the offense. It's okay to say that. This offense, but that's what also excites me, that goes back to the beginning, because there were a lot of things. I mean, you guys are talking about, CJ Carr, he went 19 of 31 for 342 yards. And we're like, I could have done this. That's what excites me about this team, because the bar has been raised to such a level because of the talent and because of what we know Mike Denbrock does when he's on, that says, hey, I'm not going to settle for 36 when it should have been 56. And you know who else isn't in the locker room fired up about his performance? Jeremiah Love. Did you see him on the sidelines of the game today? He was pissed. And it wasn't about him not getting touches. He had 12 touches in the first half. He knew he wasn't playing great, which is why he made the adjustments, and on his first 2 carries of the second half, looked great. Made great reads. But then, by that point in time, it was what it was. So he's capable of better. If you think this is the best Jeremiah Love can do, then you're the one insulting Jeremiah Love, not me. If you think this is a perfect game from Jeremiah Love, you're the one underselling him, not me. So, seriously, I'm kind of tired about that stuff, to be completely honest with you. We're grown-ups. It's okay to say this was what I loved and this is what I didn't love. In a show called Irish Breakdown. Like, what exactly were you expecting when you tuned in tonight? There's a lot of good. Trev, the answer to your question was the Fiesta Bowl. They had 3 guys went for over 100. I forgot Lorenzo Styles also went over 100 for that game. But they threw the ball 68 times in that game, Trev.
Yep, that helps.
They threw 31 tonight. 31 passes today, I should say, to get those 200-yard receivers. And in the chat, it was like, Jordan Faison had 4 catches for 49 yards, and I think 3 of them came with the game no longer in question. Your leading receiver did almost nothing until the game was basically over, and you dominated. That's the mark of a good receiving corps. And I pray that the performance of KK Smith tonight finally says to Mike Brown, maybe I should actually go with a deeper rotation of receiver. Because I'll tell you, one of the things that I noticed today, I think Faison and Malachi Fields looked gassed. Like, they just didn't, to me, at times early, they didn't look like they had the same juice. They're playing a lot of consecutive snaps. And if Greathouse gets back, if they use him more, let KK spell Jordan Faison a little bit. Not because Jordan Faison's not a dude, because he's playing like a dude this year. It's about keeping him fresh. Because I want a fresh Jordan Faison. I would love to see Jordan Faison on snap 35. Starting the fourth quarter against a cornerback going on snap 55, and see how he's going to handle Jordan Faison in space. Like that's what kind of, gets me kind of fired up. But, look, I think what we saw tonight, guys, is NC State really tried to focus on shutting down the run game, and they kept Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price for the most part in check. 33 carries, they only had 152 yards. Averaged less than 5 yards a carry. They put a lot of emphasis on not letting Jordan Faison beat them. Like, if you go watch the coverages, they were doing a lot of things to take Jordan Faison out of the game. And they did a pretty good job with all 3. Faison only had 4 catches for 49 yards, and most of it was out of – they were very aggressive in bracketing in the boundary. They did a lot of bracketing on Malachi Fields in the boundary. Jeremiah Love only had 86 yards on 18 carries, 4.8 per carry. Jadarian Price only had 66 yards on 15 carries, 4.4 per carry. Jordan Faison only had 4 catches for 49 yards. Malachi Fields only had 1 catch for 20 yards, and neither Jordan Faison nor Jeremiah Love or Jadarian Price caught a pass. But here's the problem that you have as a defensive player. You still got to defend Eli Raridan. You still have to defend Will Pauling. You still have to now defend KK Smith, and eventually you're going to have to defend Jaden Greathouse when he comes back. That's the whole thing we've been talking about, Trev. You can't defend this many dudes in a game. You just can't. You can game plan to take Malachi and the running backs out, and that's exactly what they did, and they did some things to try to limit Faison. And you still got ripped up. You still gave up 480-plus yards and 342 passing yards on 19 completions. And you had 2 guys over 100 yards, and neither of those guys was Malachi Fields. Neither of those guys was Jordan Faison. Neither one of those guys was Jeremiah Love. And Jaden Greathouse didn't even play. Like, how do you defend a team like that? Like, that's the other thing. How do you defend a team like that? Like, that's what makes this team scary good, fellas. I mean, scary good. And, like, just, like, the drive, they ended up not scoring. It was the second fourth down drive, the one where CJ threw the pick into the end zone. And for the love of all things holy, CJ, on the first fourth down, don't take a sack. I know you've been hanging out with Ian Book, but you don't take a sack there. You don't run out of bounds. You throw the ball into the end zone. I'm kidding, Ian. Great player.
Nope, great line.
But here's the deal. This is what I love about this team. So they're running all verts on the first play, 2x2. And Eli does a great job of bending it inside. And CJ just hits him. Next play, they go 3x1, and CJ throws about as pretty of a backside seam as you're ever going to get. And they were very clearly trying to defend other parts of the, they went, so early in the game, they were going quarters, and Notre Dame was ripping them up from the slot. Then they were trying to go cover 3 and some combo coverage to bracket Malachi. And then Eli rips them up. And it's like, I don't know what you do at that point in time. Holy crap. I think Faison and Malachi Fields had one catch in the first half combined, I think. But you're like, how the heck do you defend this team? We're checking these guys and we can't cover Pauling and Raridan. You can't cover this many guys when they're playing on. Like that's what has you fired up like that. That's what's going to have defensive coordinators like having nightmares. And we haven't even seen Jaden Greathouse take off yet, Trev.
That's why I was so frustrated offensively from this game. Was that stretch, that 4-drive stretch, really in the first half to like the first drive of the second half. That was just Notre Dame can't keep hurting Notre Dame. You keep asking the question about who can stop this, They can. This offense has shown now in back-to-back weeks that they can't overcome negativity with any sort of consistency. I mean, in 4 straight drives, you go turnover on downs in the red zone. You start driving the ball a little bit, get a big play to Malachi Fields, holding penalty, calls that back. That was on Jadarian Price. Next drive, a false start got them off schedule. They ended up punting. And then again, you have a turnover on downs in the red zone. Still should have been PI. But again, when officiating crews are bad, don't put them in a spot to affect the game. That's kind of my rule of thumb, as much as you can. The overturn catches is a different story. But this offense has shown now in back-to-back weeks that they can't overcome when they get off schedule.
Yeah.
And there has to be some sort of answer.
Not yet. Yeah.
Yep.
Not yet. Yeah. Not yet, Sean. I think that's the thing is what I think is scary is like I said, that the offense went for 485 yards and scored 36 points, and they left a lot on the field for the second game in a row. And I'll say this to guys. I feel way better about the offense fixing this stuff than I did about the defense from the first 3 games. These are
we've seen it.
Easily correctable things. Yeah. Like now, you better figure it out.
Well, and we've seen it, right? I mean, we've seen the offense this year do these things. Like with the defense, it was like,
yeah, you do something, teams adjust. You got to adjust. They're going to then adjust. The question is, and this is what my challenge would be to Coach Denbrock, who you guys know I think the world of, is like, can you do a better job of being ahead of them and anticipating some of those adjustments and then taking advantage of it a little bit? We've seen some of that. I want to see a little bit more of that. But that part of that, too, is he's still learning his quarterback. This is only the 6th game he's had with CJ Carr. And, last season, here's a good stat for you. Last season, Notre Dame's highest passing total of the season was 267 yards. They did that in the Orange Bowl. And this year, they have surpassed that number 4 out of 6 games. Last year, their highest yards per attempt in a game was 10.5. They did that against Army. This year, they've done that because they were at 10.7 a day. This year, they've done that in 3 of their 6 games. Like, even when it's not, quote unquote, on, this pass offense is still really good. Like last year, they were above 9 yards a pass twice, and that was against Stanford at 9.2 and Army at 10.5. This year, they've been at in their last 5 games, 9.2, 14.1, 13.5, 8.2, and 10.7 in yards per attempt. And they haven't really truly clicked yet. They will. And you just hope that it's next week. I guess survive next week and come out of the bye, because we've seen Denbrock come out of bye weeks with a little something in whether it was LSU or Notre Dame before that or Cincinnati. Like when they get a self-scout, he comes out of there like, okay, we got some things for you. So
yeah.
Yeah.
To your point about them leaving points out on, sorry, Sean, real quick, to your point about them leaving
No,
points
go
out
ahead.
on the field, I think their over under for point total on FanDuel was 41.5. And if you don't have that 4 drive stretch of shooting yourself in the foot, they would have cleared that easily.
Or fumbling the ball at the 2.
Yep. Would have cleared it easily. But sorry, Sean, I just had to get that out about points being left out there.
No, they remind me, everything you guys said. Trev, you talked about more versatility in the run game. And I think when Brian pointed out how much better Jeremiah Love looked when he came back in the game, they were running him from pistol a lot more rather than the offset. So I don't know if his time and the footwork is better from the pistol than it is at offset, because it seems like Jadarian runs that zone much better and presses the hole and then sees the crease and immediately gets up in there. And you talked about Jeremiah being a little bit impatient. It seems like he's a lot more patient, maybe from the pistol.
And I don't know. This game, it forced him. Throughout the season, Sean, because I have data on this, Jeremiah's been better through the season in offset. Today, he was better in pistol because it forced him to slow down. Your footwork is very different in pistol, which is smart. But you as your running backs coach, this is where Jaywan Sider needs to take some lessons from Deland McCullough, because Deland was a maniac with footwork with Jeremiah. You got to remember, Jeremiah is not a natural running back. He came to Notre Dame as sort of an athlete. He was he was talking about playing corner when he first started getting recruited, or maybe a receiver. And so Coach Sider's gonna have to take a note from Coach McCullough and be like, you got to stay on him every day, because if you can get his footwork on point, then he's going to take off. Because if you look at Jeremiah's performance, and people can get mad about this all they want, but in his 6 games this year, Jeremiah's been at 3.3, 4.1, 8.3, 4.1, 6.4, and now 4.8 yards per carry. Like there's
what I love about the offense is that.
Go ahead, Sean.
Dude, this offense just has what I call spurtability. Mm-hmm. It's like you can hold him down for a little bit, but it's coming. It's almost like that Golden State team with Steph and Kevin Durant. It's like you can be close, but that spurt is coming. Like you said, if they don't fumble, they score on 5 straight possessions?
Sean, they scored 26 points in the second half and fumbled at the 2-yard line.
Yeah. So it's
24
inevitable.
Points in the second half because they had the safety on defense. They scored 24 points in the second half.
Yeah. It's inevitable. And I think they need to understand, the offense needs to understand, because the offense had a lot of pressure in the beginning to have to put up points. Now with the defense playing where they're playing, the offense needs to say, if we come out early and put up 2 touchdowns, if they put up 2 touchdowns today, it's game, set, match, the way the defense was playing, because that changes everything that NC State. I think NC State, in my opinion, went away from the run or were scared off of the run a lot quicker than they might have wanted to, because they went to the pass exclusively. And I'm like, well, you're playing right into Notre Dame's hands of what they really want to do
in the second quarter.
Yeah.
Sean, I have a question. Like, here's a comment. Here's a question I have about. Well, first of all, Sean got dark on us, Trev. He Thanos snapped us right there. This Notre Dame offense is inevitable. But that's the thing, Sean, is eventually this spurtability is going to become consistent. They're never going to look like the 19 LSU Tigers, right? I mean, they had a senior quarterback. This is a redshirt freshman, all that kind of stuff. But like, I believe, because I have faith in Mike Denbrock, there will become a time, and again, we're only now at the halfway mark. There will come a time this season where they will start to look more consistent. And when that happens, I don't know if you have a chance. But here's my question as we wrap up the offensive segment. I'm curious about what the mindset of the Notre Dame offense is going to be this week in practice after seeing what their defense has now done for 2 straight games. Like, even I got to think that the Notre Dame players had a similar mindset that we had. Yeah, last week was nice, but I need to see it again. I'm very curious what the mindset's going to be like now that we've got 2 games in a row of this defense just playing lights out. Like, in the last 2 games, a Notre Dame opponent, for all the naysayers about the defense, and look, I'll be critical of Chris Ash when he deserves it, and I'll praise him when he gets it. And just because he's doing well now doesn't mean I got to apologize for the garbage we had to watch the first 3 games. But here's the reality. You can be still pissed about the first 3 games all you want. I am still too. But that shouldn't color your analysis of what you've done now. In the last 2 games, against Boise State and NC State, 2 teams that currently have a winning record at the halfway point of the season. NC State's past the halfway point. They've allowed opponents to get inside the 30-yard line twice. 2 times the opponents have passed the 30 in 2 games. Not twice per game. Those 2 opponents combined twice. At some point, I think that's the thing that when the Notre Dame offense says, we don't have to score 40 to win this week, guys. That's when I think you see the mind. And maybe it's not next week. Maybe it's coming out of the bye. But there's going to come a point in time when I think that reality sets in. That's when they start playing loose, and that's when we start to see more consistency. Because you can't tell me that this offense didn't feel the pressure of needing to score a ton of points to win games after the first 3 games. And in Arkansas, first half was early, a little bit hectic, back and forth, and then the offense kind of pulled away and did their thing. But after what we've seen the last 2 games, where Notre Dame has outscored their opponents, again, was it 64-14? I got to think that the Notre Dame offense is looking at this and saying, hey, guys, we don't have to be perfect all the time. We don't have to score on every drive. We just got to relax and go play our game. That's it. I wonder if there's going to be some sort of when that realization happens, how does that impact this offense? Is that the final thing that says, because who was it? Was it Sean that said spurred ability, or was it Trevor? Who used that word? Was that you, Sean? I love that phrase because that absolutely perfectly defines this offense. If they can find a way where they're not that and they're more consistent, goodness gracious. Boys, we're going to have some fun watching this football team.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. And we will have more in-depth breakdown to the offense when Brian and I do the Upon Further Review, and we will do it how we've been doing it the last few weeks. We'll have a 2-parter. We'll have kind of an audio version, and then we will also have a video breakdown, but that video breakdown can only be found on our premium message board, and you can find that at boards.irishbreakdown.com. And so if you want to become a premium message board subscriber, that is where you head to, and we will have much, much more intricate breakdowns once we go back, we watch the film, we can pay a little bit more attention to the offensive line, for example, because I know some people are like, what about the line? What about the line? It helps to go back and watch so we can get a little bit more in depth on that.
Off the cuff,
yeah,
I did have a feeling of the offensive line. They defined the offense today. They were very inconsistent today. There were some snaps where they blew NC State off the ball and some snaps where they got blown off the ball. Part of that was I felt NC State's game plan was very much geared, and this is where I had an issue with the play calling. Everything was when the line steps this way, that's where the ball's going. Like, that's it. That's where the ball's going.
Yeah.
When the line goes left, the ball's going left. There was no counters. There was not and that allowed NC State to pin their ears back. It was very similar to the A&M game. That's coaching, and that made it even tougher for the O-line to perform. But NC State's front played hard. Trev, you and I talked about this on the show. This is a good D-line. The rest of the defense isn't great, but the D-line's good. And they played hard today. And part of that is sometimes you got to tip your cap to the other team and say they played their butts off today. And it was a back and forth fight. They won some, Notre Dame won some. But that's what I think the film is going to show us is it was an inconsistent performance. Even in pass pro, they had some twists that they didn't pick up, and but they also had their fair share of wins, and that's when the big plays were happening for Notre Dame.
Yeah.
So I think they, more than any position, defined the play of the offense with the up and down nature. Because I mean, is part of the reason Mike Denbrock went 4th and 1 is because up to that point in time the line wasn't looking great, getting a push in the run game. I mean, like maybe I don't know, but after blocking pretty well the last 3 games, they did not have their A game today. But they at least it reminded me a lot of last year's unit guys. They at least played hard. They battled. They just didn't play well all the time, but they played hard. And that signified last year's line, Trev. They didn't always play well, but they always played hard. And
the
games.
The battle between Ashton Craig and Brandon Cleveland, I think, was indicative of how the trenches played all night. Like there were reps that Ashton Craig won, there were reps that Brandon Cleveland won, and that dictated a lot. We talked about it throughout the week. We said that was one of our things to keep an eye out on. So, no, I agree completely.
I hope he's okay too. By the way,
me too, man.
Yeah, me too. All right, so like I said, that's going to do it for our offensive section. Make sure you hit that like button, that subscribe button, that notification bell, share with your family and friends, and of course, jump on the boards@irishbreakdown.com. All kinds of exclusive content is going to go up over there, so you definitely want to make sure you are a member, and that will be going up over the next few days, so you're definitely going to want to check that out. Gentlemen, moving on to the defensive side of the football. This is the Irish Breakdown Podcast presented by FanDuel. We appreciate everybody hanging out with us after Notre Dame's 36-7 victory over NC State. And a lot went down in college football today, not going to lie. So there's going to be a lot to talk about this week. That is for sure. But we are having some fun with this thing. And, we're talking Notre Dame football, but we'll throw in a little bit of here and there because it's always fun to talk about how Penn State hasn't beaten a Power 4 team yet this season. So
this dude Vince, we're talking about Notre Dame, and Vince is like he's having all these like emotional reactions to whatever game he's watching. I'm like, Vince, calm down, man.
I know, right?
Like,
it would be the Cubs
made
game.
A good point.
It would be the Cubs game.
Vince is all mad. I thought that was a great point. Trev, he's watching something different. My bad. I thought Trev was spitting knowledge on everybody. Vince is like, I'm like, you okay, dude? That Tourette's kick in, like
I know, right?
Appendicitis causes you to have some kind of random like violent flare-ups or something. Oh, you're watching
falling apart.
Game.
I'm falling apart, Driscoll. That's all there is to it.
Buckle up, baby. We're good. We're good.
Yeah, no, we are good. And we're going to talk a little defense here, Brian, and your first thoughts on the defense overall, and kind of how things played out and where they are. I mean, 7 points and a little over 200 yards of offense given up. It's a pretty decent day for the defense.
There's no doubt. And look, this is what I hoped that we would see from the defense this season. And what I mean by that is last year there were times in the defense didn't always play clean, but they were so talented and they flew the ball so well that they'd still hold a team to 7 points despite the fact you're like, you got to do that. You can't do this. You got to make this play. You can't make that play. And there was some of that today. I mean, you had the 45-yard touchdown. And what's funny is like they never actually took a snap inside the 40-yard line. You guys know that? NC State never took a snap inside the 45-yard line because their touchdown was a 45-yard touchdown. They never got the ball like a snap past the 45. But like if you could kind of put yourself to where you could have like your mind wiped, so like I just called my boy Will Smith. He's bringing over a neuralizer later. I'm going to zap everybody of memory of what happened before the Purdue game. I think a reaction in the chat today about the game would be very different. And almost like kind of like how we're feeling about the offense because of the expectations. But that excites me, fellas, because there were times today the pressures weren't getting home, but they stayed aggressive. And what happened when they stayed aggressive and the pressures didn't get home? CJ Bailey was shook. He was overwhelmed by the way they were flying at him. Gave up a couple big plays, but had a lot of lockdown performances in the pass game. That's exactly what happened last year. Like for all the frustrations about, but you still did this and you still did this. that's my whole point about why we are sitting here a little frustrated with maybe how they're doing when, like last year's defense was kind of that way. Last year's defense would give up some big plays. Notre Dame last year ranked 65th in most plays of 20 yards or more allowed. Now, they played a few more games, but they were not a top 50 team, and because they would give up that big play here and there. And Trev, how many times have you heard me say this year? I'm okay giving up 2 or 3 big plays a game. You got to stop giving up the 9s, the 10s, the 12s, the 15s like that. Some of the plays they made today were great calls. The out and up against the freshman, that's a great call. Dallas has got to play that better. He'll learn from that. The 3rd and 9 that they beat Dallas on later, that was a phenomenal throw and catch. Dallas was in great position. Sometimes, again, when you're playing good teams, you tip your cap and say, job well done.
And he'll learn from it.
Yeah.
What do you as an offensive coordinator, what do you do, Brian? You pick on a freshman. You pick on the new guy. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like that's what that's expected.
When I have NC State's receiving core, I definitely do.
Yeah, 100%.
And you know what? Dallas kept battling. And he'll learn from this, just like Mark Zachary learned from the Purdue game. But it was a play here, a play there. It wasn't like all game like we saw with Miami and Texas A&M picking on the nickel. Christian Gray got beat once, and he made a ton of plays today and forced an incomplete pass, and like they needed to get – the officials had to give him a ball. You want to tell – here's how you know that they blew both of those calls. When Christian Gray caught his pass, NC State's guys started to run off the field, no questions asked, and Notre Dame players running down there celebrating, no questions asked. Everyone on the field that wasn't wearing black and white stripes thought that was an interception. Everyone. CJ Bailey included. The NC State receiver on the play before was like, snap it, snap it, snap it, snap it, because he knew he didn't catch the ball. But I'm sitting here at the end of the game, and I'm saying, yeah, this didn't work. Do a better job here. But the takeaway from the game is still the same. Very aggressive game plan. Mixed up their coverages really well. Had CJ Bailey on his heels all game long. This is a kid with, what is it now, almost 20 career starts. He's creeping up on 20 career starts. I've never seen him quite this shook. Like even the game against Duke where he threw 3 picks. He still threw for a bunch of yards that game, if I remember correctly. And so like Hollywood Smothers couldn't get going. I mean, he had a couple nice runs, but he had to make guys miss in the backfield. And you're watching him run, like this felt like a vintage Notre Dame defensive performance because he'd make 2 dudes miss, and you're thinking, well, that went for 15, and it's like, nope, went for 8. Because he started having to make moves like 4 or 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
His best run was that 10-yard run on the first play of that drive where he bounced off like 4 different guys. You know what I mean? Like he had to make a bunch of guys miss, and it was a 10-yard gain.
He had 67 yards on 16 carries today, 16 touches today. And you shut him down. Terrell Anderson had the 45-yard catch. His other 2 catches only went for 12 yards. Keenan Jackson had 3 catches for 27 yards. Noah Rogers had no catches today. Wesley Grimes had no catches today. They were both targeted 5 times. 7 of your 18 completions were to running backs. Checkdowns, swings. Like they weren't even down the field throws. Yeah, Terrell Anderson made a play here and another receiver made a play there. But overall, guys, this was what you wanted to see. But one difference between this defense and last year's defense, and people are probably going to get pissed at me for saying this, I've never seen an Al Golden offense against a good offense, an Al Golden defense against an offense this talented, shut down the pass game the way they did, and shut down the run game. They would be willing to give up, he'd be willing to give up 115, 125 yards rushing to shut down the pass game. They held NC State to 182 yards passing today on 31 attempts. And they only gave up 51 rushing yards. And if you put the sacks in there, their 3 running backs in this game combined for 65 yards on 19 carries. Not one of them was beyond 3.8 yards per carry. That's dominance, fellas. And they shut down the run and pass. We said, Trev, in our keys to victory, make them one-dimensional. Today, they were no-dimensional. Look, I don't know how you can get mad about that unless you're just still mad about the first few games. Be mad about the first 3 games. Don't change. Like, Nothing annoys me more than someone like, oh, you're going to apologize to Chris Ash? Why? Because he's finally doing what we said he should have been doing all year? He should apologize to us for not being this guy at the beginning. So we're not going to play that stuff. But I care about what's happening now. And what I said before the game is, let's see if that was just a Boise State thing or if this is who they are now. Well, fellas, it's 2 games in a row against 2 very different offenses. And not all the pressure's at home. That's going to happen. But as we've said, the reason you're aggressive is because sometimes even when you don't get home, you're still going to shake the quarterback's confidence and timing. And that happened today. CJ Bailey never looked comfortable in that game. Just never looked comfortable. And I don't know how you can't be excited about that. I know people see NC State and they think it's – guys, that's one of the most talented group of skill players that Notre Dame is going to face all year. They're top 4 at the very least, along with A&M, USC, and Miami. That's how talented this group of skill players are. And Notre Dame was the more physical team. They overwhelmed NC State with speed. Like, this is who Drake Bowen is. Slide route, makes the play perfectly, drills the running back in space for a tackle for a short gain. I think it was Hollywood Smothers. Just him versus Hollywood in space.
I mean, he went with Hollywood down the sideline, like stride for stride.
Jaden Scott is who they
who that was.
Scott out there and tried to run a go route on him, and he was hip for hip. It was like best kind of flipped his hips. There was the other play on 3rd down where they throw to Hollywood and Drake drills him. And yeah, the highlight reel hit was great, but more importantly, that's how you close on a route to make sure Hollywood can't square you up and get yards after the catch. So practically, that's what you want to do. You're going to give up a little 7-yard throw on 3rd and almost 20, but no yak. And Drake did that. I mean, and he's one example. I mean, they avoided Leonard Moore like he had the plague today. They avoided Bronte Johnson like he had, first century leprosy. Like they wanted no part of those 2 guys. And it's similar to the offense. Well, if you're going to do that, that means you got to throw it at Don Schuler, and that means you got to throw it Christian Gray. And that may not work out well for you. You know what I mean? So I thought the D-line played their butts off. This is the best game. So, and even like the linebackers, there was a series where I was frustrated with Jaden Osbury on a couple plays. And on one play, they had a nice little 6-yard gain, and Jaden just doesn't scrape across and doesn't make the play. On the very next play, they ran a running back screen, and Jaden blows it up. Read it perfectly, blows it up. They were disciplined today. They try that throwback screen, which is evidence that NC State was panicked. Junior reads it perfectly, blows it up. They were so well prepared for what NC State was going to do schematically. It looked like what we thought this defense was supposed to look like. Fast, physical, disciplined, disruptive. Were they perfect? I'm so tired of having that conversation. Nobody's ever perfect. This was an outstanding performance for Notre Dame. They held a team that ranked in the top 25, I believe, coming into the game. I'm going to look it up. I believe they were top 25 coming into this game. And I believe they've also had played 4 Power 4 opponents before this game. They were a top 25 team in total offense. And Notre Dame held this team to, what was it? 233 yards of offense. Yes, NC State ranked coming into this game 31st in total yards at 447.7. They were 25th in the country in yards per play at 6.7. They went 3.9 today. They came into the game 13th in red zone touchdown percentage. They're going to remain around there because they never got to the freaking red zone. 0 red zone attempts in this game. And, and did all that despite giving up 3 third and longs, which was frustrating. Imagine if they can get off the field on 3rd and long. They might not have got to 200 yards today, fellas. Like, we can nitpick all we want, fellas, but they averaged 1.8 yards per carry and 5.9 yards per pass. That's as dominant a performance against a team like this as we saw from Al Golden the last 2 years. You gotta enjoy it. That's the facts of this game. That's a heck of a performance. If one of you guys want to feel the need to prove me wrong, go for it. Floor is yours. But I'm fired up about what we saw from this defense. If they play like that the rest of the year, like they have the last 2 games, this team's going to be pretty darn good. Pretty darn good.
The promising thing is they're just continuing to get better. I mean, guys, Notre Dame hasn't allowed a team to score a point in the last 3 second halves. Arkansas didn't score a point in the second half. Boise State didn't score a point in the second half. And NC State didn't score a point in the second half. That's impressive. That's growth. That's what we've been asking to see. It is. And as frustrated as people still want to be.
Did you say did you do the last 4 games also?
No, I just said 3. I guess Purdue didn't either. Well, Purdue had the garbage
7.
time. Yeah.
7. Last 4 games, they've given up 7 points in the second half.
Yep. But if people still want to be frustrated, that's fine because it's not a perfect performance. I guess theoretically, unless you shut out a team, it's never a perfect performance. And even with Al Golden here last year, Notre Dame never shut out a single opponent. There's a lot of good today, man. The defense remained aggressive despite facing a different schematic challenge, which I think is huge. Because like we talked about throughout the week, you can't just roll out the same game plan that you had for Boise State because this offense is going to look different. But again, we talked about it all week, Brian. NC State has a good offense, a really good offense. And Notre Dame took them to the woodshed. 233 total yards of offense. Hollywood Smothers had 4 games this year over 100 yards rushing. He would have had to touch the ball. I mean, I guess quick math, because I'm not that great at it off the top of my head. 16 more times to maybe get there. I mean, this is what we've wanted to see from this defense. They have 7 interceptions in the last 2 games. They had 4 against Boise State and 3 today. And I don't care when they came. We were talking in the first 2 games of this season, we talked about, can this defense even get interceptions anymore? Can they even generate pressure anymore? 8 sacks and 7 interceptions the last 2 games. That's a great
What do you
spot
want?
to be in. Like,
what do you want?
100%. Like, now the test is we can finally move away from the conversation of, was that a one-off? Was that a flash in the pan? Now the conversation
off?
Right. Brian, he's only done it for 8 straight games. I got to see it against
Adolf. I know they're in the title game, but I'm not going to believe it until I see them beat Ohio State in the title game. I know they held, Oregon to 175 yards of offense and 3 points, but I got to see it. Is this a 13 off, or are they like, I get it. I get it. Yes, they need to keep it rolling, right?
Yeah,
I mean, you need to see 100%. This again, but guys, enjoy. It's okay to enjoy things,
yes.
And if he doesn't do it next week, then we can criticize him next week. But for today, it's like, guys, your football team played a B game and won 36-7.
Exactly.
Because your defense balled
against today. And I can't emphasize this enough, against a good offense.
Yeah.
It came against really good players, really good skilled players. I mean, NC State's offense moved the ball. They were explosive. We talked about it. They had 54 explosive plays coming into this game. Today, they had like 1. I mean, this was a really, really impressive 1 or 2.
What's an explosive?
It's 20-yard pass plays and rushes of 10 yards.
That one corner route on 3rd down against Dallas.
Yeah.
It was a perfectly thrown ball. That's it.
That was. But 2 explosive plays on a team coming into this week had 54. It's a really good spot to be in. NC State has a good offense, and I'm going to keep saying it, and I'm going to continue to keep saying it. This is a really promising performance. Got to do it again in a week, because they'll probably be, in the middle of the second quarter, if not at halftime by now next week, but you got to keep doing it.
Yeah, and right now, USC 7-7 with Michigan.
Boo.
Sean, we have been frustrated with the lack of disruption from the defense. Today, Notre Dame had 5 tackles for loss, 4 sacks, 3 interceptions, 2 pass breakups in this game. It's pretty darn disruptive.
Look, it's something that we start to see against Arkansas. And I understand why everyone had a cautionary tale coming out of that game, right? It's like, Arkansas, the offense got so far out, Arkansas couldn't run the ball. They were successful running the ball, but they turned a turnover well along. They hit the button, the tackle for loss button, the sack button. They hit those buttons. And even when Purdue got off early against them, they were still creating negative plays. So you start to see those trends, which goes to what Marcus Freeman had been preaching. Yes, schematically, some things we have to do. We have to be better as coaches, but players have to make plays. And that's what I saw all day today. I just saw players making plays. Didn't matter if they made a play, go on to the next play, somebody step up and make a play. I think, dude, Junior, on that play where he read the screen, he wasn't even paying attention. They were still talking. And he looks up, they snap the ball, but he knows his responsibility on that play. His backside. He's disciplined, stuffs it out. I was hoping he was going to pick it off when it was in the air.
This close, man. Like, it
I
almost
know,
hit him
right?
in the head. Like, yeah.
Pick him off. Jared Dawson made a great play. Smothers tried to sneak through a hole backside. He just grabs him with one arm and holds him up. And they rallied to the ball like crazy. They knew they had to rally to the ball against a kid like Smothers. Like 32 missed tackles, forced missed tackles on the season. Like, he loves to get you in space and make you miss. And if the first guy missed, it was 2 or 3 guys coming, right? And that's the way you have to attack a guy like that. So I just thought Chris Ash, continues to get better and more acclimated to what he has, right? And I think it's forcing him to come off of what he wants to do or what he's comfortable doing, because now he's starting to understand his personnel. He's starting to understand what they can do, the strengths that they had. I thought I hadn't seen a delayed safety blitz in forever. But that was beautiful. Jalen Stroman timed it perfectly, came right up the middle. When's the last time we've seen that? We've always seen the linebackers coming through the A and B gaps. But last week we asked, I was talking to you on the show, Trail. We were like, can we just get some crossfire? They crossed the linebackers last week. Lo and behold, they end up with a sack. This week, delayed safety blitz, they end up with a sack. Man, keep unveiling and peeling away those layers with the talent you have, especially with the confidence. Man, let me tell you something. Jolie was a problem if you watch this team with his ability to catch the ball, especially down the field, stretch the field. Tate Johnson took him away several times in man-to-man coverage. And so just the ability, and Adon, just, man, look, I don't understand how I asked somebody how they felt about Notre Dame sitting at 3-2. I said, how do you feel about 3-2? And a lot of people said underwhelmed. And I said, I understand that. Man, if you don't feel good going into this next game, because I don't even want to mention the team. They're not even worth mentioning. If you don't feel good going into this next game.
Ooh, your daughter's going to be mad at you.
I paid tuition. I can say what I want to say. I can say what I paid the cost to be able to talk that talk. I don't care what she says. But no seriousness, man. If you're still on that, but they haven't played anybody, well, it was just one game, then okay, you just want to be in that place as a fan. And I'm just going to allow you to sit there if that's where you want to be. If this game today didn't make you feel like, okay, something's happening, like Step Brothers in the bathroom, like, something's happening. Like, dude, if you don't have a sensation, right?
Step Brothers.
Trev had to get off. He's laughing.
I love you guys. I love these guys.
Dog.
Man, if you don't get a good feeling after this game, especially defensively, I just don't know what to tell you. I don't need to. Trev and Brian pointed out all the particulars, the numbers, the individuals. It was good to see Carson Hobbs have something good happen for him.
Yes, he needed
Christian
that.
Christian Gray today was better than last week. Last week was better than the next
I don't
week.
care what the refs
He
said.
had a pick. They took it. Absolutely. And Leonard Moore is just a dude. Leonard Moore is a dude.
How do we
Anytime
know
he's
they
on
don't
the
throw?
field? That's how you know.
I know I'm just
because
kidding.
they don't throw at him, right? But he's going to get some opportunities next week because they have guys that they feel like, yeah, we're going to try him a little bit, and he'll probably end up with an interception.
And to your point, Sean, if the defense regresses, we'll talk about it. We'll get there, but like, enjoy it for now and until we have to have a reason to, be critical. But we said, hey, I'm mad because they're not doing this. If they want to win, they need to do this. They're doing that, and they're dominating, and it's okay for us to be happy about that. Again, this team was giving up, 29 points a game the first 3 games. Gave up 27 to Miami, 41 against A&M, and then 30 against Purdue. 23 in the first half against Purdue. The last 3 games, they've given up 27 points combined. And what was it, Trev? The last 3 games, 0 in the second half.
0.
Yep.
And it's not even like anybody came close. NC State literally did not cross midfield in the second half of this game. Last week, Boise State never got past the 32 in the second half of that football game, guys. That's not luck. That's dominance. Well, this running back to drop that pass. Yeah, Notre Dame had a couple drops today as well. That's part of football. This defense was dominant today. The D-line was dominant. This is what it was supposed to look like. And you can either be mad that it wasn't that way the first 2 games, and maybe we'll have time to address that down the road. And I get that, but you can also be mad about that and still enjoy what we're seeing now, because we're finally seeing what Drake Bone is supposed to look like in year 2. We're seeing what Adon Schuler is supposed to look like in year 2. We're seeing what Christian Gray is supposed to look like in year 2. And I mean year 2 as a starting lineup. We're seeing what Boubacar is supposed to be. The only thing missing is, for the love of all things holy, play Josh Burnham more. Like, whenever he gets in the game, something good happens. He either makes a play or he forces, he had the play where he whooped the tackle and forced him to hold him on the duo run. And then the other one was him and Boubacar came off the line and drove the offensive tackles into the quarterback. CJ wanted to throw it, but Josh drove a left tackle who, Trev, you and I pointed out, has been pretty good this year. I think he's allowed 4 pressures all year. Josh gets him and he bends his back. CJ goes to throw, but Josh throws the guy into his chest. He takes a step, Boubacar sacks him. How that kid's not playing more is beyond me, especially after what he did last year. So that's my only real big complaint from today's game, fellas. Like, this is who Drake Bowen is. Jaden Osbury had a couple big mistakes today. What do you do about it? He comes back and he makes a play. Guys are going to make mistakes, but what do you do about it? Well, Jaden rebounded from his mistakes with making plays. That's football. That's football. And the interior rotation is getting after it too, guys. I mean, I don't know that I remember seeing a lot of Jason Onye in the second half. He struggled a little bit early, but in second half, whether it was Elisha Hughes or Donovan Heinisch or Gabriel Rubio or whoever, Jared Dawson had another strong game. Didn't matter who they threw out there. All of NC State's success running the football was outside, off tackle, stretch, stuff like that. They could do nothing downhill against Notre Dame. And some of the plays they had, the one area of my keys to victory, Vince, that we won't be thrilled about tomorrow is tackling in the first half. I think it was on NC State's. Here's the thing. Hold on. Let's see here. On NC State's touchdown drive, they should have been off the field on a 3-and-out. So first play, they throw an incomplete pass. They ran a tight end go against Adon. Tate plays it over top. He throws an incomplete pass. Next play is the play where they tried to do a free release with Hollywood Smothers out of the backfield and isolate him on Drake. Drake splits 2 guys. They were trying to rub him. He splits 2 guys and just blows it up. 2nd and 9. 3rd and 9, they run a crossing route. Jaden Osbury just whiffs. They should have been punting. Their only good drive all game was due to a Notre Dame player making a mistake. And then NC State went down and scored. Like, think about that. If he doesn't make that play, they may never get past the 47-yard line. So that's why I say there's things to still clean up. This defense still didn't play to its full potential, which that's football. You're not going to do that every week. But I enjoyed it. They swarmed NC State from the start, fellas. They really did. I'm happy. Now, if next week they don't play the same way, I won't be happy again. But right now, I'm happy. D-line played great. Linebackers played their butts off. And the secondary looked like we thought it was going to look like beginning of the year. Even with and if you go break down the film, you'll see there's some plays on there where Dallas was all over his dude. He gave up a couple big plays. And then he settled in and was fine. It didn't just keep happening like A&M and Miami. I'm pleased. I want to see this keep going.
Yeah, for me, and I said this in the open for people that weren't here. Like, for me, we'll break down the defense more specifically when we do the watch back and all of those things. And there's going to be a lot of good to talk about on the defense. But for me, the big picture of this defense is 2 weeks in a row. This is now week number 2 of this looking like a Notre Dame defense. So that is by far the thing I'm happiest about, because that was the show me moment for this game specifically. Like, I feel pretty good about who the offense is and what they are and what they're accomplishing. And, they may kind of be up and down at time, whatever. I feel like I know this offense, right? There was a lot of question marks about this defense after 5 games. Who are they? Well, what is this defense? I don't know. And so that was the big show me moment for me, was the defense played like they did against Boise State. And I'm not even talking about, and it's important, but I'm not even talking about from a stat line and, some of the different things, the numbers that we've thrown out and things like that. I'm talking about sitting down and just watching a game and watching what this defense is doing, flying to the football, gang tackling, putting pressure on a quarterback where he's bailing out of the pocket without even getting pressure sometimes because he's been getting pressured all game. Boubacar taking that right tackle and just putting him into the lap of the quarterback,
on the same play that Josh Burnham did the same thing
on the other side. I mean, he got absolutely sandwiched between those two guys, and we didn't see that in the first few games. Like, we didn't see it. Like, those quarterbacks were throwing from clean pockets, and the secondary was playing such off coverage that it was a clean pocket and it was a very quick game and open guys and all of those different things. It is a complete 180. It's a complete 180 from where they were. And this is game 2 of that. And so for me, I'm ecstatic that is the case. And like I said, we'll get into the nitty gritty and the details when we do upon further review. But for me, it's the big picture point of game 2. This is now a trend. Let's keep it moving.
Yeah, you guys. So let me say one thing real quick, Trev. Before you say what you're going to say, I just want to point this out. It's because it's along the line with what Vince and Sean were just saying. You guys know I have a little bit of a love-hate relationship with Pro Football Focus's grading system. But I just want to point out that coming into this game, they ranked 29th in college football in pass blocking grade as a team, according to Pro Football Focus. And Notre Dame ate them alive today. Absolutely ate them alive in this game.
Yeah, they did.
So their left tackle gave up 4, Trev, you said 4, right? 4 pressures all season long. And they dominated that kid. We were thinking, hopefully they can take advantage of Teague Anderson. And they did. But we weren't even thinking like, well, what if they whoop the other guy just as bad? And they did. And when the D-line starts playing downhill, guess what else happens? The linebackers start playing downhill.
Yeah. To me, on the first watch, the live watch, this is the best game the linebackers have played as a group. Like, it was fun to watch.
Comes a week after I think probably said the same thing last week.
Correct. Yeah, right. And I may change my tune once I go back and watch it, but man, those guys are playing fast and downhill.
I was keyed in on them a lot during this game. Okay. You won't change your mind. You'll see what I saw, which is they look, Jaden missing that one play, them not scraping into the hole. I mean, there's going to be things to clean up and correct, but this was a very impactful performance by the linebacker room. Very impactful.
Trev,
Drake
what are you thinking, man?
Oh, I was just about to say, I mean, for I think the second week in a row, every offensive player except for one, their under would have hit on FanDuel. Second week in a row. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That is crazy work. I mean, you go and you look. Let me get the box score pulled up. C.J. Bailey was under his passing yards. Hollywood Smothers was under his rushing yards. C.J. Bailey was under his over-under passing touchdowns total. The only player that hit for him for NC State was Terrell Anderson. He had 57 receiving yards.
Play.
Yep. Couldn't bet on Hoffman, so I'm assuming his over-under wouldn't have been set anywhere near 47. So I guess technically, if they made him available to bet on, his over would have hit. I'm not counting that. Hollywood Smothers, you couldn't bet on him for receiving yards. Keenan Jackson's over-under was set at 44.5. He had 27. Justin Jolly's over-under was set at, I believe, 34.5. He had 8. I mean, that was – I need to start betting on unders now that Notre Dame's defense is starting to – man.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, it was a fun day, fellas. I just was happy to see, like, popping today.
Yes.
Because we talked about the first – Sean, you and I talked about that first couple of games too. Like there was just no physicality from the defense. There's no, like, man, this team's not physical. They don't fly around to the ball. There's people questioning their athleticism. And you watch them today, and you're just like, okay, now that's what we thought we were going to see. And I'm hoping that the craziness of people saying that Drake Bowen shouldn't be starting is like that should finally
Oh, my
be dead.
gosh.
Like that weird take should finally be dead.
That was starting to get to me. I'm not going to lie. Of all the takes, that people want to have, and like that one was getting to me. I may
still don't know where that came from. But. Like you'd see it on Twitter's fans here, fans there, people DMing me, and I'm like, I
don't get it.
Don't know what you're watching, but
right.
But it's just this linebacker room we thought had a chance to be special, and today and last week, it's like that's 2 games in a row where it's like, okay, they're getting there. They're getting there, and Kingston has made a giant improvement also in coverage from week 1 to week to week. What are we in now? 7.
Yeah,
like his maturity and coverage of just awareness of route, because that was something that we liked about him coming out of high school, Sean, when we broke his film down. Like he was really good in coverage, but he was not good in coverage last year. First couple games this year just looked a little lost in coverage. He's looked so much better the last couple games of coverage. Drake's been a lot better there than people think he has, because there's been a couple times the ball's gotten over his head where it wasn't his area. But Jalen Sneed's they're finally, I think Chris Ash has finally learned how to properly use Jalen Sneed. Jaden Osbury's still a little bit inconsistent, but overall making a lot of plays too. I mean, your number 2, 3, and 4 tacklers today were your linebackers in this game. So yeah, guys, it's a very good day from the linebackers, and the secondary is playing like they're supposed to.
This is a game where I'm excited to go back and watch upon further review, or go back and watch the film upon further review. So, and that's on both sides of the ball, but defense specifically, like I can kind of exhale a little bit when it comes to the defense. So absolutely. So, hey, we still got a little bit more to go, everybody. So stick around, but make sure you hit that like button, that subscribe button, that notification bell, share with your family and friends. And of course, jump on the boards at boards.irishbreakdown.com. Brian and I are going to, well, actually all 4 of us at some point are all going to dive into the film, and we're going to get after it. And Brian and I are going to have upon further review starting tomorrow, and then a video breakdown as well on Monday. But you're only going to get the video breakdown if you are on the premium message board. And you can find that at boards.irishbreakdown.com. And you're definitely going to want to check that out. There's some great breakdowns. We got a lot of really good feedback on that. So appreciate that as well. So trying to give a little bit more to our premium message board subscribers. All right, guys, we have some super chats to get to. If you want to get your get a question in, or a comment, or anything like that, make sure you do that. And we're gonna polish up with some super chats here. You're gonna want to get a super chat in. We FanDuel
super chats, baby.
That's right, the FanDuel super chats. We don't do just regular comments today with the way that the post game show goes. And if you've been with us for a long time, you know that. But if you want to get a comment or a question in, you got to do it through a super chat. So you got to get those in. And so we're going to start rolling through those. And again, this is the Irish Breakdown podcast presented by FanDuel. And we're excited to kind of get after these and see what everybody's got to say.
So I want to begin by a buddy of mine, a guy I've met through the site, real good, one of the OGs, been on the site from the beginning. He actually donated to the Irish Breakdown site because, you know, he likes the fact that we get a lot more of that take. But he put a $250 super chat because of the game today, and he basically said that he wanted to say he was wrong about the defense. I'm a defensive guy and thought they had no chance of turning it around. I was wrong. So, Joe, my dude, I appreciate you for that tremendous super chat. We greatly appreciate that. Awesome. I know Vince, Trevor, and Sean are all going to be thankful when we get the bonus time at the end of the year for that super chat. So we appreciate that. But that's where I think some people might have been wrong. Nobody was wrong by saying the defense played like poo in the beginning of the season, because they did. There's no excuse for it. But what we didn't know is, could they turn it around or not? We even said, and here's where I was wrong. I said 2 weeks ago, and we still don't know if they can. I don't think they can become a top 10 defense. I think that's a thing of the past. I'm not ready to declare that I was wrong yet, but I'm feeling very good about potentially being wrong on that one, the way they've played the last 2 weeks. Now, again, some tests to come up. USC next week is going to be a big test. Pitt just knocked off Florida State, and Florida State scored over 30 points after scoring 48 on BC last week. That's going to be a test.
No doubt.
You know,
Northwestern beat Penn State.
Oh,
I just love the fact that we're breaking this up. We're going to break this up into 4 different shows, and we've mentioned it every show. Just want to throw that out there.
Every show. but you know, BC has got a dangerous pass offense if they can protect the quarterback. And I got a feeling that Ricky Collins is going to have some things figured out by the time we get there. No, by the way, there's this cat named Blake Horvath that they're going to have to face, who's a pretty good player. They had a great – did you guys see they came back and won in the final minute today? But there's still a lot they got to prove. But, guys, right now, this is looking like a team that can be a top 10 defense. Like, maybe not in rankings because we need to see it, but, like, as far as, like, how they're performing in the present, I thought they could improve and turn it around. I didn't think they could turn it around to this level. I'm not ready to say they have completely turned it around, because 2 great games does not mean that this is who you are for perpetuity, but I'm going to enjoy it in the moment. And by the way, Auburn just scored at 16-0 over Georgia.
I
said on Thursday, watch out for this game. Trevor and I both said Auburn just has a game like this every year. They play some team they have no business beating, and they just play their tails off. So, yeah, actually, they haven't ruled it a touchdown just yet. Looks like they were in. But anyway, let's get to this super chat from Eric Carroll.
See, this is why the offense needs to score more points. But Eric Carroll gives us an awesome super chat, a 3607, which we really, really appreciate. I love when people take the final score and put it into a super chat. I love it even more when Notre Dame puts up a 50 burger or more. But no, seriously, Eric, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you very much. He says, a bit frustrating first half. The game should have been over mid-second quarter. Officiating woes continue. Was nice to see Hobbs snag a pick. Go Irish.
Guys, I think that frustration is fair.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, it should not have been a 10-7 game at halftime. Notre Dame should have been blowing them out.
No way.
That's totally fair.
No way.
But then it's like, okay, but what are you going to do about it? Yeah, it shouldn't have been 10-7. What are you going to do about it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Notre Dame scored, what would it be, 29 points in the final 31 minutes of the game. Averaged a point a minute almost in the last 31 minutes of the game. That ain't bad. That ain't bad. So, yeah, clean up the starts. I mean, this is why we put fast start as the number 1 key every freaking week. This is it. This is why. So, yeah. But that's what good teams do. Okay, yeah, you didn't start off great. Notre Dame started off sloppy a couple times. I mean, Notre Dame was down to Penn State 10-0 in the semifinals last year. But rallied back, did what they needed to do, and that's what good teams do. There's no team. I mean, LSU 2019 had scored 23 points in a win over Auburn. Like, it's going to happen. There's just going to be those weeks. But the good teams are the ones say, yeah, even though with those issues, we're going to find a way to get it done and struggle our way to 485 yards and 36 points and clean it up, get better, but still say, but man, the bar has been, whew. Yeah. Yep.
Michael S., thank you so much for the super chat. Appreciate you very, very much. Brian, last chat, you accused me of being too pessimistic about Notre Dame's chances against NC State. Well, the first half, the pessimism was warranted. Second half, go Irish, and miraculously covered. But be concerned. SC is right around the corner. Can we just
This is kind
of
what I'm talking about, Michael. Like, you gave us, I love you, dude. And I'm not hammering you, Michael, because you're a great guy and you give us all types of super chats all the time. And you don't have to think the way that we think. But it's more so like you gave three straight super chats and show the other day. And all of them were like, well, what if this worst case scenario happens? What if this worst case scenario happens? But football's a 4-quarter game. Man, that's the reality. Football's a 4-quarter game.
You got it.
And for 4 quarters, at the end of the day, Notre Dame was 29 points better than NC State. But yeah, like you don't like you can. It's fair to say, well, this may not be good enough next week against USC. Well, maybe, but we're not talking about NC State yet. We're talking about what they did today against NC State, and yeah, they weren't super crisp in the first half, but they had still outgained. I think it was like 241 to 146 in the first half and led 10-7. Like this thing, it's got to be better, but they're close to just absolutely exploding. And they got to clean some stuff up. So that's totally fair. It's totally fair, Michael. I appreciate the super chat, my dude. I really do.
Patrick, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it very much. First off, heck of a win for the boys. Not the prettiest first half, but I will take a 29-point victory any day of the week. Second, Penn State with a bunch of laughing, crying emojis. Can't disagree or argue with that. Nope.
Oh, man. I mean, thing about James Franklin is he was at least able to win these types of games. Like, you just lost.
Oh, like he should have beaten Northwestern.
He was like Brian Kelly. Like, him and Brian
yeah.
Kelly used to be like two peas in a pod, man. Like,
right.
They could win these games. It was the big games that they couldn't win.
Yeah.
So,
Yeesh.
Yeah.
Man.
Whew.
Charlie Weiss's last bell loop. Thanks for the super chat. Yesterday was my 34th birthday. I'll take this victory as a present. There were things that we have to clean up, but I will take it. Now time for UFC.
Is there like some UFC fight on?
I have no idea. There's still college football on, and I'm not a UFC fan. I'd rather watch.
I've never really
might be a typo. Might be now time for USC. Maybe.
Gotcha. Could be. Yeah, could be.
South Carolina's playing too, so there you go.
What's the score of that game? It's 7-3. Oh, LSU's up 10-7. Okay. Yep. All right. Thank you, Charlie. Hey, by the way, Charlie, happy birthday, my dude. Happy 34th birthday, man. So I appreciate you. Christopher Galloway, a.k.a. Black Irish. I think Christopher's going to be at our tailgate next week, I believe. Just win.
Nice.
Just win, baby. And that's exactly what they did, my friend.
Nice. Hey, Reagan, thank you very much for the super chat. See y'all next week. Time to roll SC. And he's got the peace sign emoji and the down arrow. And I agree.
I'm with you on that. Today.
I'm up today.
Today, as soon as the game is over, it's for right now. Yes, sir. That's right.
Yep, we already had that one. There we go.
I knew that, but I just love the
100%. Yeah, 100%.
No, I knew that, Vince. I already knew we did that one.
Craig Sebring, thank you for the super chat. Loved when Boubacar was talking smack to NC State. Yeah. I like it when it's warranted, and it was, so I'm good. You know what I mean? Like that's when I'm cool with smack talk.
You know, their offensive linemen were doing a lot of whooping to be down like third. Dude,
yeah.
Drake just pointed to the scoreboard.
Yeah.
It's the first game in a while I've seen this defense play with a little bit of something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they executed well against Boise State, but like today they were fired up. I mean, Sean, you and I were talking on the show. It's like, hey, if you make a big hit, celebrate. If you get a sack, celebrate it. Man, they were
with each other.
Yes.
I think, Trev, you've pointed that out. Like early in the year, a guy would make a play and like nobody go over to him.
There was a play where Drake Bowen absolutely it was the play that he absolutely decleated Marcel Reed. On that, he was like running on 3rd and 2, and he was the only one that got up and celebrated. Everybody else kind of pitter-pattered back to the huddle, and guess we got to get lined up for another one. Today, it was, that hit on Hollywood Smothers. I felt that one.
So did he.
He sure did.
Yep.
Well, my favorite celebration was when Junior got the quarterback on that screen, that throwback, and he tackles him, and then all of a sudden the entire sideline is celebrating with him. Okay, and I think part of that was the ref was right there just waiting for an excessive celebration call, and so I'm not sure which coach it was came out. I think it might have been was it Washington? They kind of came out and like met him to make sure that they were celebrating together as opposed to him standing over the quarterback. But either way, that was like an entire sideline celebration. So I dig it. That was fun.
I also want to point out that the good news is Notre Dame is now the recipient of not the recipient of the worst officiating call replay call ever.
No way.
They just I'm very clear the ball was completely past the white line, and they called it a fumble on Auburn. Ball clearly broke the plane, and they gave Georgia the ball at the 1 yard line.
Well, the officiating crew from last week in South Bend must be down in Athens this week.
Must
or
be.
Wherever this game's being played.
Or the guys that did the replay booth just shot up down to Athens.
I wonder if there is a mandate where it's like we know what is clear evidence to us, but it's a mandate. We're going to stick with what's on the field. Like if we don't see it 100%.
They called a touchdown on the field. I'm pretty sure.
No, they said they called it fumble.
They did call it.
You talking about the Auburn game? It was called the fumble line.
Called it a fumble.
Yeah, it was a called fumble,
and I think terrible.
that's
the
trend we see. Right,
Sean. Like, don't have replay.
Right.
Just go back to the way it used to be and have missed calls. Like that was so very clearly a touchdown. Just like that receiver from NC State, the ball very clearly hit the ground without him having possession of it. Like my dad said, like, look, I'm not even upset about the Christian Gray one because there wasn't a great angle, which I think it looked, clear to me, but you could say, okay, there wasn't a clear, fine, whatever.
But based on what they called the NC State's receiver a catch, that still should have been a pick, regardless 100%. Of like you set the precedent 100%. In the game of what you're willing to call.
Yeah.
So even 100%. If you don't get the best angle of Christian Gray's, you had a perfect angle of the NC State's wide receivers catch. I say that loosely for the people listening on the podcast. I used air quotes.
Alleged.
Yeah,
catch.
Allegedly. Ugh.
Bad.
It really was.
Brian Panaccio, thank you very much for the super chat. Appreciate you very much. When this offense gets rolling, it's an avalanche.
Again.
Right.
Once this offense gets rolling again. And Vince, I'm glad you got that name right because you would have had your Italian card pulled. So well done.
I almost said something about his roots or, the motherland or, something along those lines.
You'd have got your Italian card pulled. I think Angela might have been the one to pull it too.
That was a very, very Italian name, and I love it.
He literally looks at me like, I can't believe I married this man when I say ricotta. She'll say what it is, and I'm like, I don't see a G in that word. Like, you see a G in that word? But Sean's like, this guy's an idiot.
The head shakes. It says it all. Zach Martin, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. Like the saying, quote, if you're going to be dumb, you better be tough, unquote. Well, I guess, quote, if you're going to be miserable inside the 5, you better pick them off 4 times, unquote. Let's clean it up a bit. Cover W in the end.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, think about that. They've outscored their last 2 opponents 64-14, and they're not even close to playing their best football as an entire team. Defense played pretty good.
Yeah,
but as an entire team, somebody put in the chat their last 3 games is what did he have, like 120-30, something crazy like that? What was it? Because it's 64 the last 2 games and then 56, 120-30. Their last 3 games they've outscored their opponents 120-30. It's pretty good. And by the way, the team that they beat 56-13 lost by a touchdown to number 7 Ole Miss and lost by 3 points on the road to a top 15 one-loss Tennessee team today. So, yeah.
Harold Ustachi?
That's what I was thinking.
Eustache?
Eustache. Yeah.
Ustachi? Okay.
Eustache? I think it's Eustache. Harold, help us out, man, if we get that wrong.
Yeah, I apologize if I butchered it, Harold, because I just felt real good about the last one that I got right. And now I'm starting to second guess myself. So, Harold, thank you very much for the super chat, though, my friend. Appreciate it very much. Agree with Brian 100%. Just win, shut down Hollywood Smothers, and play lights out defense. We must celebrate that. Bowen was player of the game on defense. Go Irish.
He was an absolute dog. You know the defense is playing well when every week it's tough to pick the one
I know,
guy.
right?
Yeah. The one guy. Yeah.
Agreed.
So just real quick. So she says it's not ricotta and then literally spells it like
Ricotta.
it is on the thing, Ricotta.
I'm not getting in the middle.
I mean,
of
I
this
wasn't the greatest student when I was a kid, but I don't remember a lot of words that had C in it that were pronounced with G's. I'm just saying. Just saying. But thank you, Harold. I appreciate you very much. My dude, I'm in so much trouble when I go upstairs. Hey, by the way, real quick, though, in all seriousness, I forgot to do this earlier. But Irish for Life 99, our guy Paul, who hooked me up, he was the one that found our tailgate tickets today. Also, so me, my dad, and Angela all had to go into the press box, into the field, because we had to work the game. My dad helped cover for Vince today. So he stayed behind when everybody else left and helped my mom completely tear down the tailgate, get everything loaded up in the vans, and my mom was able to get home before the game started. So, Paul, my dude, who's been around with us from the beginning, man, I appreciate you so much. I'm going to hook you up. Don't worry about it. He won't like that. He said that I'm not allowed to do that, but I'm going to do it anyway because of how much I appreciate, you helping out my family today, man. So I really, really, really appreciate you so much. Bayside Tiger 6.
Yes.
Met him today, Vince. Great stories at the tailgate, Brian. We enjoyed. It was great meeting you as well. Got to meet a lot of people that have been around for a long time that I've never met. So it's kind of fun, like putting faces to screen names now. And, and then I try not to get offended when the first thing people say is, "Where's Vince? Where's Trevor? Like, am I not good enough for you?" No, I'm just kidding. But I love that because it just shows how much they love everything about IB. So I greatly appreciate that. But got a chance to meet him. He was there today. So really appreciate you guys all stopping by and eating the food. And next week's tailgate, we got a few more super chats. Y'all don't eat before you come to the tailgate. My mom hooks up great food, so come with an appetite for sure.
Andy Gold Rush 2, thank you so much for the super chat. Anybody notice how the KR didn't try to bring out any after getting popped on the first one of the kick return?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yes. Yeah, they did not want to, because they
Bro,
got
Kahanu
absolutely
Kia
handed to 'em.
lit that dude up.
Correct. Yes.
Good
100%.
night.
They said that was
That
the
should have
first
been a
one that they
cue.
brought out all year, and no
Yeah.
one ever will again.
That should have been a
good
cue.
reason.
Like, it's probably not a good idea
Yeah.
to, or it's like, this is going to be a long day because Kahanu's
Right.
obviously a defense player. They said that's the first one that NC State has tried to return all year.
No, that has been returned on Notre Dame, I think is what they said on the broadcast.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that has been brought out. Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
not
there was
accurate.
There was
They've
a
had
second
three
half to
this
that
year,
one.
but
There was a
yeah.
second half to that one. I don't know if you could bring that back
Texas
up.
A&M had 2 and Miami had 1. So
Okay.
I don't know if the heck they're maybe at home. No, because in A&M, yeah, I don't know.
No? Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know.
thought that's what I heard. Whatever.
They might have said
you-
that. They might have said
Can you bring that one back up? There was a little bit more to it. That
Yes, I
I didn't
can.
get to yet. Also, Pauling does a lot of things well. Playing the deep ball in the air is not one of them. We kind of talked
No,
about that,
He doesn't.
Brian. Last,
does not
on
attack
the
ball
further
well.
review. Yeah.
Well, one of the things that I will talk about is what I did like from Will Pauling today is he accelerated better on a couple routes. It looked like he got talked to a little bit. Like the slot fade he hit early, he flew off the ball. Like that's what he has not been doing. And then CJ read that well because what CJ's been doing is getting caught between, do I lead the guy or throw the back shoulder? And he threw a great ball out there and Will went and got it. So hopefully he can continue to kind of make some of those adjustments and something. His production was outstanding for a guy that I thought played solid but not great football because he just was wide open a few times. But I saw some positive steps in that regard, which was good. But no, and that's okay. Like, he's a fifth-year senior. That's just who he is. He's not going to play the deep ball well. So just know that and game plan accordingly. And make sure that number one's getting those routes when he comes back.
Right.
Because here's the one concern I have about the receiving core. If Jaden Greathouse isn't out there, there's only one guy that really is at all a good contested catch guy. That's it. It's Malachi. Faison's not a great contested catch guy. Will Pauling is really not a good contested catch guy. KK Smith is just not strong enough to be that guy. You saw that on the one deep ball that CJ threw to him that he just couldn't even get a second hand on it. That was a phenomenal ball, by the way. That's why I think, because there's going to be some secondaries in the playoffs if they can keep rolling that are going to be good enough to say, hey, we're going to be physical and be closer in coverage, and you're going to have to outplay us for the ball. And if other than Malachi, I don't know who's that guy's going to be. So that's another reason that they really need to get Jaden Greathouse back involved in the pass game. Go ahead, Sean.
Yeah, that ball to KK was pass interference as well. Defensive back had his arm, so we couldn't get it up, and ref was right there, just didn't call it. So
yeah,
What
shocker!
I am surprised,
Shocked and appalled.
Gosh. Well, takes away from the great job that they did earlier that day. But I will say this, Vince. I think next week on the spread option, we might have to talk about Will Pauling anytime touchdown might start being a lock.
Is this 3 games in a row?
3 games in a row, scored against Arkansas, Boise State, and now NC State. And I think his odds on FanDuel before were plus 250 for an anytime touchdown, I think. So we might have to start looking into that, Vince.
That's pretty good. Well, for the first time ever, Jadarian Price's anytime touchdown let me down. So there's that.
You're still up on the year by a lot.
Well,
did I see that Jeremiah Love 11 rushing touchdowns or 11 total touchdowns? I saw that they said he has 11. Is that just rushing?
I think it's total.
Yeah, he definitely gets to the end zone a lot. Yeah, okay, so he had 6 coming into the game, so he must be at 9. Or it must be total. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he had 2 today, right? 2?
2.
Yes, sir.
Trevor Rocket, our guy from north of the border. Thank you very much for the super chat. I hope Ashton Craig is all right, lads. Keep doing what you're doing at IB. And all I have to say is this team puts it all together. Look out. Cheers, lads, and bring on the team from out west. 100%. All right. Kenny, 36. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. Brian's wearing a new hat. What's the occasion?
Just wanted a new hat. I wanted to kind of mix up my hat game. I used to be really big into hats. Like when I was in college and high school, I literally had a hat to match every outfit that I might have had. Like I had.
Oh, you were one of those guys.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And yeah, I was definitely that guy. There's no question about that. So I had 2 pairs of sneakers. So for what people paid for sneakers back then, I could buy 30 hats.
Yeah, 100%.
But no, I was that dude. I had Dodger hats, Red Sox. Are you a Yankees fan? No. Do you not see how this all matches? You know, I'm not going to wear
I think I could do that.
Cincinnati
I could wear
hat.
a random hat for a team that I didn't follow. I don't think I could do it.
Yeah, Vince, but you were an option receiver, man. So you just had a different mentality. You know what I'm saying? It's quarterback. You look good, feel good, play good. You know what I mean? That's in life, bro. You know what I mean? You also met your wife super young. So you had to stop caring about game and how you look young. You're in college.
Facts. These are facts.
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
Don't take that, Vince. Don't take that.
It's not taking it. It's a compliment.
Don't take that, man.
His game is way better than mine.
Your game, you got to keep game up to maintain it, Vince. They don't know about that, Vince. Now from when you're young, you got to keep the game to maintain it so it gets better. Don't take that, Vince. You still got game.
My man.
He's taking it because he knows it's true. But no, so I got this hat. So this is one. This will be one that's going to go into the rotation as well. So I got this hat the other day, and I got 2 more coming in the mail. So I just want to mix up the hat game, so I'm not wearing the same one every show. So
Dig it.
Yeah. Thank you for noticing, Kenny. It's like for the last 5 years, if I don't shave, if I do shave, if I have glasses, if I don't have glasses, if I have a hat, don't have a hat, like it always gets noticed. And then this is like the third time I've rocked this awesome hat. And it's the first time somebody said something. So thank you, Kenny. I'm like, man, who's going to mention it? Because this hat I think is sweet. I love
People
this hat.
are obsessed with your facial hair, by the way.
Yeah, that's all good.
I mean, it's something.
And the fact that I always have to do this. There's a guy on the board whose avatar or his name on the board is Brian's sliding glasses.
Are you serious?
Yes, it's awesome.
That's hilarious.
It's awesome. There's Driscoll's beard on the show. There's someone with the name Driscoll's beard on there. Yeah.
Did they take a hiatus when you shave?
No.
Okay.
So they know it's coming back. It's a matter of time.
Miles Whitaker, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's keep this party bus rolling. Appreciate you guys. We appreciate you, Miles.
Thank you, Miles. Very, very much.
The history expert, thank you for the super chat. The defense performance gives me confidence for USC.
A lot more, yeah. Like I'll still this week when we're breaking and you guys may be different. I'll still be like, this is gonna be a tough matchup, and they're gonna have to do this and have to do that. But they keep playing the way they're playing the last couple weeks, guys. I like their chances to go out there and compete against USC.
Yeah,
100%. That's a good offense. I mean, might be the best one they faced up to this point in time. We'll see how they finish the game against Michigan, but yes, I'm with you on that. I'm much more. I mean. 3 weeks ago, I was dreading this game, just dreading
100%,
it.
100%.
I was dreading the game today 3 weeks ago, and then I wasn't even trying to even think about next week. Excuse me, because USC has a much better. I mean, their defense isn't great, but it's a lot better than NC State's.
Kevin Fetters, thank you very much for the super chat. Appreciate it. I think my biggest positive is they were able to pour it on late. Marcus Freeman has typically not done that in second half of games that are close in the past. I actually said that to my son as we were watching the game today, in that, look at that, man. The first team is still on the field on both sides of the football, and it was late in the fourth quarter. And I was like, you know what? Let's go. Because this team, I don't want to say they need confidence, but you know what? When you got your foot on the throat, let's keep it there. Like, I'm okay with it. I was really, they brought in the backups to kneel. Like, that's what they did. Yeah. I was okay with it in this regard. I really was.
I was happy that philosophically they remained aggressive on defense despite being up 20 and then 29 and that was extremely promising. More so than the offense, because some of it, like your defense was giving you a short field. I'm expecting them to convert and put points on the board, but defensively I was worried that they had already been cooked on a double move earlier in the game. They were up by 20. And I was like, okay, here's when the old school quarters coverage comes in.
Right.
Here's when they rush 3 and drop 8. They're just hanging out and allowing NC. No, dude, they stayed aggressive. They kept sending bodies. That was one of the most promising things of the game to me. That showed me that big picture they have turned a corner philosophically. Yeah. That was fantastic.
100%. That's a great observation, Trevor. And that leads to, I think I'm going to go down below a little bit and bring up a super chat that I think is very fitting to what Trevor's talking about. And that's from DJ Holman. DJ, my man, thank you very much for the super chat. But I love this comment. He goes, is it too early to say the defense is like a phoenix and has risen from the ash?
Oh, we're getting deep.
Well played, DJ. Well played.
But
Trev, to your point, look, first of all, if you think that this is all 100% Chris Ash just seeing the light and making changes, you're kidding yourself. There's a guy that's been at Notre Dame since 2021. Actually, there's a couple guys that have been at Notre Dame for a while who are having a much greater influence on that. But kudos to Chris Ash for taking that influence and kind of being more of a let's do this together and going out there and calling the game the way that it should be called. So I'm all for it. I mean, look, guys, this is how it is. None of this is personal. We didn't rip Chris Ash because we don't like him. Because he gave, Trev side-eye at a press conference or something like that. He deserved to be criticized for the job he did. And he deserves to be praised for the last couple of weeks for working with the entire staff, which is what a good D coordinator should do, and putting a product on the field that's been like, okay, that's who you're supposed to be. So now, is it too early? for me, yes, it is. I want to see next week. At the end of the year, you're not going to be evaluated for how you played against Boise State or NC State at the end of the year. It's still Notre Dame, and you're still evaluated for how you play against Miami, A&M, USC, and then what you do in the postseason. That's still how you're evaluated. Sure. Fair or not, right or wrong, whatever. A year from now, no one's going to be like, you remember that game against Boise and NC? It's going to be, you remember that game against USC? Good or bad? That's what you come to Notre Dame for. You came to Notre Dame because you wanted to be gauged on how you performed against Boise State and NC State, then you didn't come to the right place. Go to Duke if you want to be evaluated for how you perform against NC State.
Or if you want to live in a tent a lot.
That doesn't take away from what they've done because we can't evaluate them for how they did against USC because we haven't got there yet. But I will say this, DJ, I'm a lot more confident in saying that I'm going to feel that way now than I was even a week ago. Because I was like, yeah, okay, you did that against Boise, but that's a very different offense from what you're going to face the rest of the year. I mean, when was the last time you saw an opponent line up an I formation on first down like Boise did last week? Like, it's a different animal. So let me see you do it against a team that's in 11 personnel all day. Well, now we have. And hopefully we'll see it again next week.
Miles Whitaker, thanks for, I believe, another super chat. It's clear to at least myself that NC State wanted to make Notre Dame beat them through the air. Challenge accepted, mission accomplished.
Yeah, agree. I mean, I think
teams are going to start learning that CJ Carr can beat them through the air. Like that, like the preseason, like, oh, we got to stop Notre Dame's run game. That's still a thing, but they're just throwing the film, man.
No, you're right. But that's what's so dangerous about this offense is let's just say, hypothetically, a team wants to drop 7 or 8 every play to prevent CJ from throwing for over 300 yards. Well, the last team that did that, they gave up, 6 total touchdowns to Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price?
Yeah.
Like that's what this offense is on the brink of having. Vince, to your point about it's just like, teams will finally start figuring out about CJ Carr. I agree. But then it's like teams already know about Jadarian and Jeremiah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So then it's like, I guess you hope that they do what they did today and turn it over in the red zone and have 2 turnovers on downs in the red zone and get stupid penalties and stuff like that. I mean, this offense is clicking on the verge of.
Alex Udell, thank you for the super chat. What a catch. Really?
What is a catch, really?
What is
a catch right now? Like,
yeah, seriously. Good question. I don't know.
How does that saying go? It's in the eye of the beholder? Or is that beauty?
Which is, well, beauty's in the eye of the beholder, but now it's a catch is in the eye of the beholder. Or whatever.
A catch is in the eyes of the ACC officiating crew.
Yeah. And whether or not the person making the attempted catch is a ACC team or not. I'll say this, guys. If I'm Marcus Freeman, first of all, I think I said this to you, Vince, on the phone. I gained a great deal of respect for Marcus Freeman's character today. Because if I was him, I'm getting tossed after they didn't rule Christian Gray's interception. Like, I'm getting tossed after what happened last week.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's not just, it's the Texas A&M game.
Yeah.
Where Donovan Hinish gets tackled from behind, no call, ref looking right at it. What last week's atrocity, and then this week, if I'm Marcus Freeman and Coach Freeman, I don't often just give you flat out blatant advice, but whoever monitors the show for the Notre Dame football program, I'm begging you to relay this message to Marcus Freeman. Go into every ACC game from now until the day that you are no longer the head football coach at Notre Dame after your 5 national titles with the mindset of if we can get to 100, we're going to get to 100. Annihilate every ACC team you play. This conference has been trying to screw over Notre Dame for a decade because they're mad about a deal that they offered to Notre Dame. The refs have been screwing you for years. Do I need to remind you of the Stephon Tuitt getting kicked out for targeting in 2013, and then Deshaun Kaiser getting speared in the head by a Virginia Tech player? No call. This has been happening to you since you joined this stupid, pitiful, lousy league that's closer to the American Conference than they are to the Big 12. They have been screwing you forever, despite the fact one of their greatest revenue seasons ever was the year that you joined for COVID. So, coach, go into every game you play against an ACC team saying, look, we like doing movie quotes here. Me and my best friend, we were in high school and college. We could literally do whole conversations of movie quotes. And I'm pretty sure every dude in this show right now could have done
It's a good friend.
Very good friend. I miss him. But let's go remember the Titans on him. Herman, run it up. Leave no doubt. Every game. I don't care if you put your third-string quarterback in the game. You put Blake Hebert in the game against Syracuse in the fourth quarter, bomb on play number 1. If you can score a hundo, get to a hundo. That's my mentality against every ACC team we play from now on. We're going to destroy you. You and your garbage league that we've dominated since we ever came in. So screw that league. Screw its officials. Don't even let it be close. Annihilate them every chance you get, because this league has literally tried to screw you over every chance that they get. Am I wrong, fellas? It's been a decade long of this crap. And I'm sick of it. I'm like, you know what? Screw you guys. We're gonna make you pay for your lack of appreciation for us saving your sorry butts. I'm at the point now where it's like, I'm calling the Big Ten and saying, hey, man, if we get out of this deal with the ACC, would you guys be willing to sign a similar deal? We'll play 5 games a year against your league and join you for the other sports. We're already in for the hockey. Never join full-time Big Ten. Screw the Big Ten full-time. But, heck, I'd even call the Big 12 or the SEC at this point in time and say, hey, we'll play 5-year teams a year. We're done with the ACC. You give us half the buyout, and we'll pay the other half. Because we're tired of having a relationship with a G5 team league.
Hunter Hall, thank you for the super chat. Man, this team is going to be a pain to play against in the playoff. On an off day, the offense scored 34 points. Let's go. The defense played at an elite level and can still get better. Life is getting good to be a Notre Dame fan.
Absolutely love that mentality, Hunter. Like, that's where we should all be. And it took me a while to guys. It took me till like halfway on my way on my home on my drive from the game to get to that point.
At the start of today, I was sitting in the living room. I was talking to Lauren, watching the Illinois-Ohio State game, and I was sitting there. And I was talking to her, and I was like, "Look, this is the first weekend in quite some time I've felt good. You know, like the Boise State win was cool, but it didn't do it for me. You know, I could have cared less that they beat Purdue. The Arkansas win was impressive, but it didn't I wasn't back on board fully after they beat Arkansas. It was an impressive win. After this win and how it went down, Sean, what have we talked about for the last 2 weeks? It's the how. Brian, you and I talked about this week. It's the how and how they've been winning after watching them do it against NC State, because there was still a little bit of me in the back of my mind that was like, they looked really good at times against Arkansas, looked really good against Boise State on defense. What if this is the game that they revert back to who they were first half against Purdue, against A&M, at times against Miami? And that put it to rest. And man, I love that super chat. I feel good.
Yeah. By the way, for the folks in the chat that thought we were being too negative, I just want to read a comment from you from the head football coach of Notre Dame in his post-game presser in the introduction. He says, it's obviously good to get up here in front of you after a victory, the way they prepared, proud of the way they prepared. It wasn't perfect. I'll probably say that to you every time I'm here. But in order to be able to enjoy that victory and know we didn't play our best game, there's plays and there's situations we have to clean up if we want to truly reach our full potential. We have to clean it up, but we'll look at it. We'll get it cleaned up. We'll address it in practice, and we get another opportunity in 7 days to now go back out there and compete. So offensively, there's some bad, but there's some really good. Sounds familiar. Like there's some really good. We've got to clean up the bad and what cause of the bad was, and then we'll continue to get back to work and be better. So I don't know why he's hating on Notre Dame, man. It's a freaking hater right there, dude. Like, he should be happy. So
Hunter Hall, thank you again for another super chat. What are your all's overall thoughts on Indiana? I love the state that I live in.
raise hands if you picked Indiana to beat Oregon. Me? You lie.
I put it in a parlay today. I'll send you the screenshot.
You said it in the show. You changed. See, you know what? That's actually wisdom right there. He listened to my argument, or did you just pick them to not like the cover? Or did you pick them to win?
I picked them money line because I like the odds. The rest of the parlay
money line's the one where you pick them to win, right?
Yep, money line is outright win.
You know what? That is the youngest guy on the channel showing wisdom. He listened to my arguments on Thursday. Trevor, agree with this, whether it's true or not. Okay. He heard the wisdom of my arguments on Thursday and said, you know what? Brian's been on this earth a lot longer than I have. I think he might be on to something this week because USC's up 21-7 and they're driving. I'm going to go 5 for 5 today in our big 5 games. I don't want to hear that I started the season 1-4. I don't want to hear it. That's in the past. Stop focusing on old stuff. That's way in the past. This week, I nailed it. Picked Texas to beat Oklahoma, picked Indiana to beat Oregon. But seriously, what are my thoughts on Indiana? What I think everybody saw today is kind of what we were talking about. That this is not last year's Indiana team. Last year's Indiana team was good. They weren't on the same level as the top programs. I don't still know that they're on the same level as like Ohio State's and Notre Dame's because I don't think Oregon's as good as them. I said that on Thursday. That's one of my reasons I picked the upset, Trev, is I still am not sold that Oregon is that kind of team yet. This isn't last year's Oregon team. But I think this is a better version of Indiana. Bryant Haynes is a legit one of the best D coordinators in college football right now. They had a good mid-level Big Ten quarterback last year. Now they have one of the 3 best quarterbacks in the league. They have a legit receiving core. Their running back room is better than last year's, and their offensive line is way better than it was last year. Like, way better. And they're a legit big-time football team right now. Like, I get it. Kurt Cignetti is what he is. I totally get it. But he can be all the things that we all know he is, but the one thing he also is a heck of a football coach. And he continues to show that. But like even against Notre Dame and Ohio State last year, they battled. They battled in both games. Those teams had better players. But this year, they're like, I had a buddy last night and he was like, you really think Indiana can beat Oregon? I said, okay, let me ask you a question. Right now, who do you think is a better player, Fernando Mendoza or Dante Moore? I'd probably say Fernando. Okay, cool. Who has the better running back room right now, Indiana or Oregon? Probably Indiana, but it's close. I said fair. It's close. Yes. That freshman for Oregon is a really good player. I said, who do you think has a better receiver room? He goes, oh, that's definitely Indiana. Sorry, cool. Who has a better offensive line? It's close. It's a wash. All right, cool. I think it's Indiana, but okay, it's a wash. Who has the better front 7? Oh, it's probably Indiana. Cool. Who has the better secondary? I said, you just literally acknowledge that Indiana is either better or as good as Oregon everywhere. So why are you shocked that I picked Indiana? And really, I think you think of it's Indiana. You just don't think about it. But I think what they showed today is like they're legitimately in my opinion, one of the 5-6 best teams in college football today. And I get anyone that had doubts about it coming into the game. And Trev, I wasn't like, lock it up. It's going to be no doubt about it. I just look at the matchup and I look at this team and I just think they're the better team. And I think they're going to win. But they were even more convincing than I thought it was. If it wasn't for the pick 6 that Oregon had, that game's not even close. So I think they're a legitimately good football team. I don't think they're as good as Ohio State right now. I think they're going to struggle to score like that on Ohio State, but they won't have to do that till what? I think Big Ten title game, right? They don't play Ohio State in the regular season, correct?
Nope. Correct.
Guys, this is a legit good football team, and I hope they're this focused when they go to Happy Valley and play Penn State, because there's some more L's on that Penn State schedule, boys. But I'm curious. I want to hear from you guys, like in all seriousness, what are your thoughts on Indiana now that this game has played out and the result is what it was?
Oh, they're impressive. No doubt about it. I was watching that game go down and they weren't afraid of the moment. I was interested to see how Kurt Cignetti would coach in a close game because like we talked about on Thursday, he had yet to do that. I mean, at the end of the day, we're talking about a football program they kept saying the stat in the middle of the game. They were 1-71 against top 5 opponents.
Wow. All time?
All time. And the game was a little bit back and forth, and then Indiana it wasn't even like they never went away. They just took control of the football game on the road. It was impressive, man. Like I said, offensively, I think they still have some things to work out on the offensive line because it wasn't perfect. But at the end of the day, you go in there in a hostile environment, it's a really, really good win. Really good win.
Real quick thing for you that said something to me, and I want to get Vince and Sean's take on this. What made me finally a believer, I mean, I kind of felt like watching the whole game, but when they threw that pick six and it made it 2020, I said, uh-oh. They responded by going on a next drive, 12 play, 75-yard touchdown drive that took 6 minutes and 19 seconds off the clock. That moment was the we have arrived the moment for Oregon. I mean, for Indiana. The way they responded to that at Oregon. You've been really controlling the game kind of for the most part. You've been the better team by not by a ton, but the whole game. And that's the moment where Oregon comes back and uh-oh. And they just went right down the field. Sean, what are your thoughts?
I think it came down to the offensive line and inability, because we talked about this, right? What they did at Penn State in the moment, in the vacuum, looked impressive. But one of the places that you cannot rebuild through the portal is offensive line, man. And they lost a lot on that offensive line, and this was their first test. And in two biggest matchups, the Indiana defensive line dominated both games. Just wrecked the other offense, took them out of what they wanted to do, and they did the exact thing. They harassed Dante Moore all game long, and they never really could get the run game going. So for me, that is the difference. But like you said, can they do that against Ohio State? And can they run the ball against Ohio State when they face Ohio State? Right now, I think they're the second best team in the Big Ten, without question.
Definitely the best.
Without
offense.
question, they're the second, definitely best offense. I think Mendoza made some mistakes. Back-to-back weeks, you saw him struggle against Iowa and Oregon on the road. So that's something to kind of keep in the back of your mind as they go into the playoffs. How is he going to perform in big moments? But other than that, in the trenches, that's really where they're making their hay and showing that they're different. Look, he learned from the playoff loss. And didn't go out and do anything big in the portal. He went and fortified the trenches on both sides of the ball. He knew this is where we got beat and dominated against Notre Dame. And this is where we have to improve moving forward. And they've done that. So I think they're going to be I think they make the playoffs again. They might get a home playoff game this time. And I would love nothing more than to travel down to Indiana in the first round. Would love nothing more. Let's go. Pack it up. I would love nothing more than see Notre Dame go play Indiana on the road. Let's do it.
I know this is going to hurt you, Vince, but what are your thoughts?
I mean, I'm surprised that they won. I did not have any faith that was actually going to happen, so I'm going to give them credit for that. No doubt about that. I didn't watch the game that closely because I was watching two other games at the exact same time and trying to really focus in on both of those. So I was just kind of looking over and getting score updates and, that kind of a deal. But, IU's a good team, and they're, like you said, they're probably going to make it undefeated potentially by the end of the year. And then they're going to face Ohio State in the Big Ten championship, and we're going to see how good they really are. But that's not going to stop them from making the playoff again. And they're probably going to be hosting or maybe even get a bye depending on how things go. So, good for them. Good on them, because IU was literally the black hole of football for a very, very long time. And they've had two very successful seasons in a row. So I can hate them as much as I want. I can hate the obnoxious fan base. I can hate their punchable face coach. All of those things. It's all true. But at the end of the day, they're a good football team. So,
did you say we're going to find out how really good they really are when they play Ohio State? Is that what you said?
See if they're a top tier team. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just don't think not beating the best team in the football means that you're not a top tier team. I think they've shown by beating Oregon and beating Illinois by 53, they are a top team. I don't know if they're the top team. I think that's what the Ohio State game would prove. Because if that's the case, then Notre Dame's not a top tier team either.
I never said they were.
Yeah. So nobody is, except maybe Michigan, because they're the only team that can beat Ohio State. So, I think this game shows that they are a top team. Are they a championship contender? That's what the Ohio State game will show. But I think they're one of the 5-6 best teams in college football right now. But Sean, I think your Mendoza's going to have to make some big plays against in some moments he hasn't in a game like today for them to be a team that can make a deep run. Like Vince, that's where I probably still have some questions about this team.
Sure.
Is their quarterback has done some really good things this year, but against an elite Iowa defense and today against Indiana or Oregon, there's some moments I thought he didn't make the plays he needed to make. That can be the difference between being a team that wins a game in the playoffs and a team that wins 3 or 4 in the playoffs. And that's still a question, but I think that's a question for a lot of teams not named Ohio State. So, but yeah, that was a heck of a performance. Here's a fair question from Christopher Galloway, aka Black Irish 864. Trevor, are you heading to Happy Valley to do your show this week?
If I wasn't going to be up in South Bend on Saturday, I'd heavily think about it. I made that joke earlier in the week because I was like, "There's no way to lose the Northwestern, right?" But it happened.
What a crazy year this has been. Just an absolutely insanely crazy year.
I know. It's almost as bad as losing to UCLA the week before.
Almost as bad.
Well, they did that too.
Honestly, what's worse, losing at UCLA or at home to Northwestern?
UCLA still.
Yeah, I would probably say, even despite what UCLA did this week to Michigan State, Penn State was the first team in 40 years to be ranked in the top 10 and lose to a winless team that's at least 0-4.
So bad.
I mean, UCLA didn't even have a lead on anybody all year long up to that point, and they led.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they never
they
even
matched-
had a lead.
They matched their highest point total with 6 minutes to go in the second quarter.
They literally never led a game until
Nope.
then.
Nope.
Coach Skinner trying to if he keeps doing this, good luck not promoting him to full-time coach. Their AD's probably uh-oh. They're about to make this real hard. Honestly, he's now been coach for 2 games, right? Correct? He's 2-0, beat Penn State, and they just annihilated Michigan State on the road.
I was going to say a Big Ten team, crossed a time zone and won a game.
Road.
Woohoo!
Yeah. Dominated.
Yeah.
2, because Indiana went out to Oregon and won a game.
That's true. Good point. Good point.
So,
Always
yeah.
got to keep bringing up IU. Okay.
And shout out to Neuheisel. I don't know I don't know what he's unlocked with Nico, but they figured something out with him.
Yeah.
Something's working. He obviously figured out the talk button on the speaker this week, so good for him on that one. Did you hear that story, Brian? He couldn't figure out the headset, and so there were times where Nico had to call his own play because he didn't push the button on the headset to talk to the quarterback. He admitted it in the post-game press conference. He's like, I didn't even practice with the headset. I didn't even know what I was doing. It was
hilarious.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. So
Nico went 16 for 24 for 180 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Very efficient day.
Didn't ask him to do a whole lot.
Yeah, but that's an efficient day.
In volume-wise, yeah.
And then they ran the ball 43 times for 238 yards.
Yeah.
It's a good day's work. It's a very good day's work.
100%.
That's a heck of a win, dude. Yeah, good luck. And then who do they got coming up? UCLA. They play Maryland at home. Oh, then it's at Indiana. Okay.
Win.
This is going to come to a crashing halt. Vince is so bitter
UCLA.
about how good Indiana is.
Go Bruins.
Oh, Bruins. It'll be a really close game up until about kickoff. And then I think Indiana starts to run away with it at that point in time.
Man.
Warm-ups are going to look really – because, I mean, let's be honest, guys. UCLA always looks good during warm-ups because
They do.
I will not
I like
lie.
their colors.
Especially at home. They have one of the sweetest home
Yes.
uniforms in college football.
I agree completely. Are they? Where's that IU game? Is it out in LA or is it
in Bloomington?
It's in Bloomington. All right.
Yeah, that's going to be ugly.
It's going to bust out my powder blue. Take a 3-hour drive.
They also
south.
have to play at Ohio State and at UCLA at USC. So
well,
the road gets a little tougher the rest of the way for the old Bruins.
Go Bruins! All right. Lou Holtz, Thunder and Bolts, thank you so much for the super chat. Got the W. I'm telling you, when this team finally puts it all together on both sides of the ball this season, and they will, watch out. Watch out.
Agree. Hope you're doing good, brother. I hope this performance the last couple weeks has really helped you at least find something to be excited about, man. I appreciate you being in the super chat or in the show, and appreciate your super chat.
Matt, thank you for the super chat. How about KVA getting his first pick and dancing on the sideline there a little bit? You know, I mean, he did
the sexy Dexy dance.
You know, good for him. Have the wherewithal to know where the sideline is, and you know all those. Like, good on him for a linebacker. That's impressive.
Yeah, first pick of the season, second of his career.
Mm-hmm.
He's really improved in coverage as the year's gone on. He really has.
Oh yeah.
So, P. Jesse did this super chat. Appreciate that very much. And then followed up again with another one that I wanted to get to.
P. Jesse,
Thank
time
you very
2.
much.
Thank you so much for the big time super chat. Appreciate you. Love walking away from a game with a lot to learn and a decisive smackdown. Great to see KK Smith get his 2. Thanks for hosting, Gene and Patrick. Thank you. Appreciate you guys.
Very, very much. Yep. So, Gene, just to tell Gene that I did talk to Angela about making sure that we have some gluten-free options next week, because Angela now has, because of her surgery, has some gluten issues, and then Gene also. So we've already started to talk about the menu for next week to make sure that we have some options and then the way it's got to be prepared. So it's great meeting you guys. Really great meeting you guys. There's one point in time where he was explaining how she wasn't really into football when they first met, and he and I are off talking, and she's over there in a group of other guys talking about Notre Dame. It was like, that's pretty awesome. Yeah, it was great. It's great meeting you guys, and met a lot of folks today. It was really awesome to meet all you guys.
V1 rotate V2. The defense looks. Oh, thank you for the super chat. First of all, the defense looks like it gives up a lot of plays, but they don't give up any points.
I don't agree with that. I don't. They didn't give up a lot of plays, guys. They gave up 2 plays all game of over 20 yards. That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't give up a lot of big plays. Like, there's no way you can give up a lot of big plays and hold a team to 233 yards.
Facts.
It's just literally not possible. Like, statistically not. I just think, honestly, and I get where this mentality, I do. And you guys correct me if I'm wrong. If I'm overstating this, please tell me. But I just feel like that's more of a you're holding on to some upsetness of what they've done before. So every time a big play is made, it's like opening up a wound that hasn't quite fully healed yet.
Right.
Whereas when it happened under last year's defense, it was like, it's part of football, no big deal. You know, they're going to make a play or 2 here and there. But so I kind of get that. But there's no way that they had 59 offensive plays. They had 233 total plays or total yards and only averaged 3.9 yards per play. They got further than the 47-yard line once. Like, that's not a lot of plays.
They had 3 plays over 20 yards today. Just 3.
They came into the game ranked 6th in all of college football, I believe. In most plays, actually, let me go look, because they were 6th in plays of 30 yards or more. Let me look this up real quick.
Well, then they only had 1 of those
plays.
So,
yep, they were. Let's see, where's NC State in most? They were 13th in college football, with tied for 13th, 2 behind Notre Dame in one more game. In plays of 20 yards or more, they were 13th. 6 games. That's almost 6 a game. Coming into this game, they were coming into the game. They had 18 plays They were tied for 6th in all of college football in plays of 30 yards or more. That's an average of 3 a game. And then they were tied for 5th in college football in plays of 40 yards or more, with 11 coming into this game. And they were tied for 15th in college football coming into this game with most plays of 50 yards or more. That's who this team was. And they had played 4 games against Power 4 opponents, folks. It's not like they had Penn State schedule where they played a bunch of nobodies until the Power 4 schedule started up, and then they lose to everyone. That's a Power 4 team. That's not it. They're the only team to have beaten ranked Virginia. Why? Bunch of big plays.
Yeah.
So they did not give up a bunch of big plays today. And I think one of their 20-yard gains, didn't it happen late, Vince? Wasn't one of them late?
The 20-yard gains, there was one in the fourth quarter with 5 minutes to go. They had a 26-yard pass. 26-yard pass.
Yeah, I believe that was against the second string defense, wasn't it?
I don't think they went full second string. I think it was like kind of pieced together, but yeah, I think that's probably accurate.
Yeah. So I do. Do you
was
guys think I'm wrong on
on
that? Or, I mean,
Luke
am I wrong with that
Tallaght.
analysis, guys? That, like, I think this is still because every time a big play is hit, it kind of opens up a wound that hasn't fully healed from the first 3 games, or do you think it's something else? Or am I wrong? Do you think they did give up a lot of big plays today and just help? Because when I think of that, I think of a team like Boise State last week. Got gashed by Notre Dame all game, but then just, still held them to 28 points because they stopped them 3 times inside the 25-yard line. They crossed the 47-yard line once today. What do you guys think?
That part, what you just there, you can't say that and then have what you just stated. The two don't equate.
Right.
But they gave up a bunch of big plays in between their end zone and the 50-yard line. It just is impossible. So, maybe the perception of the long touchdown pass, and like you said, maybe it seemed like that from a perception standpoint. But, when you really take a look at the game, they limited big plays, And shout out to Mike Mickens. Like, at some point, you understand that your youngsters are youngsters and you coach them up. But it's at the point now when Mike Mickens, told Dallas Golden, hey, do your job. Do your job. Dude, you're 7 weeks in. I don't want to hear about. No, do your job. If you do your job, we're good. And I think the 26-yard pass Vince was talking about, Carson Hobbs fell down.
He did
on that play.
Yeah, he 100% did, which is what made the kid wide open.
Yeah.
So I guess it was mostly the second team, by the way. I do remember that play now. Bill Kostrup, thank you so much for the super chat. Bill, been around. I know Bill's been around for a long time, so thanks, Bill, for hanging out. Appreciate it very much. My fault. It was so close at the half, gents. We had a guest at the house, and I forgot to change into my Good Luck IB Gold Club t-shirt. I changed at halftime, and we saw the magic. I'll be more careful moving forward.
Bill?
We expect big things on game day, man. Like, you got to, come on, man.
Bro, this is big boy football, Bill. Come on, man. Like, you make that investment to get the IB Gold Club t-shirt and you're not even ready for game day? Come on, brother. You should have had it on under whatever shirt you had with those people over. Like, suits on, or you're at a wedding. IB Gold Club t-shirt's got to be on underneath. Got to do it. Hey, you got to find a way to win. But you know what? He made some halftime adjustments. Second half came out dominated. So that's how you do it. He was a lot like the Notre Dame offense today. Made some halftime adjustments, dominated it in the second half. Well done, Bill. Well done. Appreciate you very much.
Just your ordinary Joe. Speaking of being around for a long time, Joe, appreciate the super chat. Speaking of hats, Brian, the merch store needs a hat with 2 boxes where the owner can check one with a Sharpie. Calm or FFA.
So that's the name of the chats. the game live chats of the game.
Oh,
So like
gotcha.
last couple of years, I kind of had to create 2 chats because there's some people that like if you throw an incomplete pass, it's bench this person sucks, and they just lose their minds.
Oh yeah.
And there's other people that like, I don't know, want to be like calm and rational during the game, right? Those crazy people that want to be calm and rational during the game. And it got to the point where just certain people weren't enjoying the chat because it's like, this is insane. Like they want to fire everyone, benching everyone. So we had to create a calm chat where you talk rationally, you don't lose your mind, and then another chat where it's like, as long as you keep the language and personal attacks to a minimum, you can overreact and go crazy as much as you want. Well, this year I thought, okay, we've grown up enough to where we don't need 2 chats, and that lasted about 3 games. I was like, yeah, we're back to the 2 chats again. And so the FFA stands for free for all. And so you know what you're getting into when you step into that show. No.
Okay.
No.
Makes sense.
Trevor Trowbridge went to super chat. Remember when Northwestern beat Penn State?
I was waiting for you to find that one. Is that the first time you saw it?
Yes.
That's awesome. Yes. That makes it even better.
That is amazing. Remember when Northwestern beat Penn State? That is so great.
Thank you.
I do, Trevor. I do remember that.
I remember when UCLA beat them.
Yes. Yes. Oregon beating him in overtime seems like so long ago.
I know. And that was almost
Do y'all remember the last time they beat a Power 5? No, I don't actually remember the last time.
The last time they beat a Power 4 team was
the
when
regular season.
SMU. If you want to count SMU as a Power 4 team, they've been a Power 4 team for like 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, that's seriously.
You know, that's hilarious. That's phenomenal, Trevor. That's well done.
Thank you.
That's very well done.
Relic Q, thank you for the super chat. Favorite comment after the Penn State loss? James Franklin is the James Franklin of James Franklins. Not wrong.
Oh man,
that's just beautiful.
That's just beautiful. Oh goodness gracious.
John M., thanks for the super chat. I'll say it again. Notre Dame fans are the Aisha Curry of college football fans. They're never satisfied.
Look, it's a minority of fans. They just they're
just the loudest.
Yes. I think we have a guy mad at us because we had the audacity to say that Jeremiah Love couldn't be better than averaging 4.8 yards per carry. That's the best Jeremiah Love could do on a day like this is 4.8 yards per carry, and pointing it out. I mean, so there's extremes on every side as there is in everything. You tend to find that the people who are negative about something tend to be the loudest. I think the majority of Notre Dame fans are happy about the win while knowing that this team can be even better. And then how you look at that be even better is really where you're going to come down on. If you're just pissed that they didn't play their whole potential, then you're going to be grumpy. But if you're like, hey, I'm happy about the win, but I know this team can be better, it's all good, then you're probably going to be happy. So I get it. But is that Steph Curry's wife?
Sure.
I don't get that. I don't really watch NBA anymore. What's the
She went on a podcast and talked about how she just got married too young and felt like that she had a lot of opportunities left out on the table, pretty much.
A lot better opportunities than Steph Curry?
No, like for her personally, like she wanted to go do all these different things and then feels like she got married too young.
I feel like she could still do those. Money allows a lot of freedom. Just saying.
I'm gonna plead the fifth on this one, man. I'm just telling you what she said.
I'm gonna keep my comments to myself on that silliness because I didn't listen to it. I trust Trev, but I'm gonna keep my opinion myself on that silliness.
Matt, thanks for the super chat. Just wondering your thoughts on this. CJ did not throw to the slot very often when Greathouse was in. However, these last 2 games, he targeted the slot more. Is this a mismatch, or do you think different?
Well, I think he's targeted the slot a lot more, but he wasn't throwing to Will Pauling a ton the first few games either. I think it's defense related.
Mm-hmm.
I do. I mean, I think that's what defenses are doing. Teams are adjusting to how they defend Notre Dame, and that's opening up opportunities for the slots to make more plays. So I don't think it's like I get why it seems that way but remember they started throwing to the slot against Arkansas. You had Jaden had 2 big catches in that game. Will Pauling had 3 catches that game, and Jeremiah Love had a corner route from the slot for a big play that game. As teams start to adjust to that position, to how they're defending Notre Dame, where it's, hey, we got to do this to stop the run. There's not as many of those slot fade opportunities. Now the teams are having to, defend Notre Dame a little bit differently. Those opportunities are opening up. Notre Dame's throwing the ball a bunch to the out, so they're now doing things to defend the out cuts, and that's opening up more opportunities. I really think it's just a coincidence. I think that's more so than anything. So, but
well, when Malachi Fields and Faison have been your numbers 1 and 2 receivers, they're going to get more attention moving forward. I mean, that just makes sense.
They're number 1. Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Number 1 and 2, and Malachi Fields, they had 1 catch for 20 yards.
Correct, because he's being like,
right.
If we're going to go back and watch the all 22. Maybe that's something we want to look at. But they're focusing on those 2 guys for good reason. They had a lot of production the first 5 games of the season, right? So it makes perfect sense that, okay, well, if those guys are covered, somebody's probably open. And
right.
That's why Eli Raridan had a good game today.
Eli Raridan had more catches and yards than Faison and Malachi Fields combined.
Correct. So, like, the 2 guys that are working the middle and doing some different things, it was their game today,
Right. Exactly. Well, Vince, my dude.
Okay.
That's it.
All right. Well, everybody, thanks for hanging out with us. Appreciate it very much. Post-game show is always fun, especially when Notre Dame pulls off a 36-7 win over an ACC foe. And so we appreciate everybody chilling on the Irish Breakdown podcast presented by FanDuel. Always a good time. And make sure you hit that like button on your way out, that subscribe button, that notification bell, share with your family and friends, and, of course, jump on the boards at boards.irishbreakdown.com. We're going to jump into the film and get after it over the next couple of days. And so you're going to want to check out upon further review. There'll be an audio version. There'll be a video version, but the video is only for our subscribers. So you definitely want to get over there, spend the money, enjoy the breakdown. You, too, can be a smart football connoisseur. So you want to check out the film, and we'll help you guys out with it. So for Trevor, for Sean, for Brian, I am Vince, and we will talk to you next time on the Irish Breakdown podcast presented by our friends at FanDuel.
Thanks again to everybody who came out to the tailgate today. It's great meeting all y'all, and I hope to meet more of you next weekend for our tailgate against USC. Peace out.